Peace. Peace and love to the good people. Salute, everyone. Salute. Hope everybody can hear me all right. Just moving and adjusting my stuff, making sure I'm good on my end. Peace and blessings, good family. I hope everybody is well this Sunday. Always a little excited to be in the building, talking to the good family. Get to pass some good energy to the good family, exchange with you guys. So happy Sunday to all of you. I hope that I'm finding you well. Hope that you guys had a really good week. Salute to everybody. As I'm just straightening up my little settings here. My little dashboard here. I like to have my workflow pretty accessible so I can see things I need. All right, looks like I'm good here. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Let's see who we got in the building. Today. Oh my goodness, my twin, the King Daryl Anderson is in the building, 10 toes, as per usual. Infinite blessings to my twin Daryl. He says, salute to the beautiful queen, aka my twin Sugar Free. And definitely salute to the rest of the kings and the queens in the chat. Infinite blessings to the King Daryl, my twin. Salute to you, King. I hope everything's well with you this Sunday. Thank you so much for joining, King. And okay, Daryl gives us the reminder each and every time to get them nines up. Put a 9 in the chat if you guys can hear me. Put a 9 in the chat if you guys are well, if all is audible to you. Hopefully everything's okay. Throw some 9s in the chat one time. Salute to the twin in the building. Peace and blessings to the King, the Macadocious Mac of the South. Salute to you, King. He says, salute, Queen SugarFreeMars. Blessings, my sister. Infinite peace, infinite light, infinite energy to the King, Mac, in the building. I appreciate you always, and it's always lovely to see you and have you. We got the King, drumming for life in the building, D4L. He says, salute, SugarFreeMars. Infinite blessings to you, King. I appreciate you for pulling up this evening. Oh my goodness, here he is, the King, one of my gunners, one of my hitters, Patrice X30 in the building. He says, salute from the floor to the roof, Sugar Free, always building a house of truth. See, this is, time and time again, King Patrice. Speaking of from the floor, you leave me absolutely floored with that positive, wonderful energy that you have, King. I appreciate you so much. It's always a pleasure to see you roll through, for some good old cooking. I appreciate you, King. Infinite blessings to you and yours. I hope everything is well your way. Speaking of big steppers, hold up. Here he go. It's none other than the King here for boxing in the building. He says, y'all ain't gonna want to miss this live. Oh my God, the King here for boxing suspects that there will be some cooking on deck. And King, you are not mistaken at all in that notion. I got the seasoning. All right, we about to let some stuff marinate. We about to get the frying and the cooking ASAP up in here today, King. Wonderful to see you. And it was also wonderful chatting it up with you, over the weekend on a lot of the stuff that, left us, I guess, in a whirlwind, maybe mentally, a lot of things that's going on in the boxing world. Wonderful dialogue that we had. I appreciate you always. Thank you so much for pulling up and showing love. Salute to the King, Snoopy, Mac in the building. Dream team over everybody over here. All right. Salute to the King, Snoopy, in the building. Infinite blessings to you, King. Lovely to see you. And as you guys continue to make your way in, I guess, I'll see where I want to begin. Hopefully, I know it's always a little bit trying on Sundays, you guys. Like I said, the whole football fam, they do their thing. I have no idea what's going on in the football world. But like I said, hopefully I'm not gonna be too long-winded tonight. And if I am, you know what? This is my goddamn time slot. So it is what the hell it is. Sorry to all the football fans if I'm intruding upon your time. But I kind of like Sunday evening. So I kind of keep it here. But blessings to the family. Salute to the King, NBAD Nice in the building. I see you as well, King. Thank you so much for joining with your little heart. Sending it back to you twofold, King. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. And let's see. Oh, the King here for boxing says a game one just ended. Okay. Okay. Game two starts in two. Okay. So that gives me some time. That definitely gives me some time. Thank you, King, for keeping me on alert because I have no idea what goes on in football. I know nothing about that sport. So I just know that, people love it and that this is the time frame for that. So infinite blessings to the King here for boxing and all the brothers in the building today. Let's see what I wanted to cook on, you guys. You know, there's something that I was thinking about just as a principle, I guess, in boxing, always kind of tying together strings and looking at the way things unfold in the dynamic of boxing. I always find it so interesting to see how these characters present themselves or just how different principles present themselves in boxing. And I guess as of late, well, since the last time we conversed, I have been wondering, I guess, about the capacity of responsibility, like what that means in boxing, right? I have been wondering, in other words, about the capacity of assuming responsibility in boxing. I sit back and I look at the great warriors, for example, right? Excuse me, who have done this thing called boxing, who have done it and brought it to its pinnacle, right? Who have done it supremely and with verve and with all types of temerity and heart and courage. And, they had the sense of need that they had. I think of these men and the women who have embarked on that type of character path, that display of character in boxing. I look at the long line of these beautiful men and the women who have claimed their place, who have made a claim to themselves as warriors, and a claim to the sport that we love. I look at the myriad factors that they had to deal with coming up in their time, and I often do a juxtaposition, if you will, to some degree, right? I kind of look at their way of handling things versus the now and the ways in which we see particular fighters go about handling the things on their plate, right? And I could say no load is ever a light load when it comes to greatness, right? It's going to vary, but it's all going to be difficult. The road is never easy. But I do look at the myriad factors and the ways that these things play out along their journey, how things are handled along the journey. I look at the old greats and I think about the things that they had to deal with that defied logic. I think about all the quick decisions they had to make in real time. The things that were not surrounded in lights and glitter and glamour, the things that they had to deal with to combat outside of the ring, right? In addition to all the things, of course, that they had to deal with in preparation for an actual fight. I think about the things that challenged their courage and how they had to handle that, how they had to respond to things like that. I think about the things that threatened their success, not only financially, but the success of their making as individuals, things that threaten their fruition, the fruition of their goals, the attainment of their dreams, all of these things that stumbled across the great's path that they had to deal with, right? And how in dealing with all of those different types of factors, and despite all of those different types of factors, that they still had to go beyond that. They still had to find a way. They still had to be, right? And they still had to walk 10 toes on that path, regardless of what was thrown on it in front of them. I think that that level of courageousness that it takes to be responsible for oneself is something that I am deeply impressioned by and inspired by. Despite the odds, the need, the necessity to make one's self, and not only to make oneself, but to be responsible for what you make is a very, very, very important concept for me. And in looking at these beautiful brothers and sisters who have done it, who have paved the way, I look at their mistakes. I look at their, what we would say, faults or whatever these, types of words we would use. But really, it really is just, it's like putting a sword in the fire. You must do that in order to expel those impurities. Right? The responsibility for oneself is a really, really big deal. And, despite all of the up and downs, all of, the shadow parts of yourself that you have to deal with, the shadow aspects of your journey that you have to deal with unabashedly, as courageously as possible, under impossible circumstances, sometimes dealing with the lights, dealing with millions of dollars online, millions of dollars in your bank account. All of these things can be burdensome, yet and still you must have a level of responsibility that demands, that you respond to your calling. How do you handle, the making of yourself under these types of circumstances and demands, right? All shades of scrutiny these people have had to deal with, external perceptions of them that may or may not be true, all types of allegations, internal revelations that they are having about themselves amid all of this stuff on their path, right? And how in facing the wave after wave after wave of scrutiny and expectation, self-imposed and the ones externally, imposed upon you, still having to adhere to the character of being responsible and accountable for your own creative existence. That's a hell of a balance, brothers and sisters, isn't it? Such is life, as the saying goes, I guess, right? Despite all of these things happening in tandem, a hailstorm of experiences on your path, still being responsible and accountable for the you that you create, right? The you that you create in your art, in your field, in your life, in all types of ways. I deeply admire that spirit of gallantry. That is absolutely a gallant effort. And, it isn't that I want to romanticize or poeticize even this particular energy that I'm speaking about, brothers and sisters, right now. But I do find it to be an imperative to centralize this aspect. I definitely do. So I don't want to poeticize it or put roses on top of top of the concept of gallantry and things like that, and uprightness and character and responsibility and courageousness. I'm not trying to be a poet. It just sounds maybe flowery, if you will, because of the inherent heart that is within that type of character. There's an inherent virtue. So it's going to sound a little bit grandiose and maybe even resplendent when we talk like that, when we centralize things like responsibility, accountability, uprightness, and things like that, gallantry, valor. It sounds very big, but it really is practical. Because the reality is that responsibility is something that we all must assume in our lives, brothers and sisters. Facts or no, right? It's something that we all must do. It's like breathing. Assuming responsibility and accountability. It's as natural and as fundamental as water and time, ladies and gentlemen. Right? That's not something that we could ever render as meaningless. So when we look at it in context to boxing, I look at these young fighters, for example, active fighters of today. And honestly, I'm constantly reminded about How it's never the many. Real talk. It's never the many, but the few who really, really make an impression upon the landscape and upon what we perceive to be the potential of the sport. It's never the many that do it. It's always the select few. And those few have standout special qualities that, provide a distinction between them and, I guess, everyone else. Has me looking closer to things like that. So, right? So that, as far as responsibility goes, responsibility seems like a simple enough word and a simple enough concept to wrap around, right? But it's not. Not when we put it into context of character and action, right? Because that demands that one goes to the next level. That's the requirement. It demands that you go beyond a high five or a popularity contest. It demands, that you go beyond a quick payday even, or these things that, one finds themselves gascinating about, bragging about, or whatever have you. Responsibility goes beyond that, the ability to assume responsibility for oneself, for one's path, for one's output, for one's actions, etc. That takes a level of character that requires a level of maturity that insists upon you going beyond the base level, right? The expression of one's honor and code system is what responsibility denotes. Responsibility has a funny way of forcing you, in other words, brothers and sisters, to show who you are. And within this current climate of boxing, that seems to be the very thing, that's become a trend to refrain from. People don't seem to want to show who they are. And I'm seeing little examples of this pop up in our current landscape of boxing, brothers and sisters. It's looking like a trend to me to refrain from the very avenues that will demand that you show of what you are made. Okay? And it made me ask, is responsibility a weight, I don't know, that these fighters think that they can't meet? Is that a weight that they think that they absolutely can't meet? That they can't bear that particular weight? The responsibility of valor, whether it's, via one's triumph or one's defeat. They don't want the responsibility of valor, the showing of valor. What's going on? Is that something that we've seen proven by a lot of these fighters that we dote over? Have they shown a level of valor? Have they shown a recoiling away from the avenues and expressions of that valor or the potential of valor? Have they recoiled from that? Right? Just because they are or have been champions, for example, does that automatically suggest that they are honorable competitors? Honorable in the sense that they want to continue to carve themselves out to be greater men and women? Can these fighters be given a pass? Let's say if they do amass a level of acclaim and recognition, does that give these fighters a path or a pass to scoff, for example, at the boxing public who venerate them because they've gained an accolade or two or three? Or none? Does that give them a pass to do that because they have a particular seat or a particular level of visibility? Right? Does that mean that they could sit pretty because they've gained a level of popularity? I think about these things, and it really brought to the question to the forefront of my mind. What are these fighters responsible for in this current climate right now today? What are these fighters responsible for? And to be honest, brothers and sisters, there are a particular few that I do not have to pose such a question to. And I'm sure a lot of you, as soon as I said that, had at least 3 fighters come to your mind. There are that select few, that very few that we do not have to pose such a question to as to what they are responsible for, as to if they are responsible in their warriorship, in their competitorship. Very few people that I'm worry-free about as it pertains to that, aspect of that or that concept, right? And there are others who I find to be, in a perpetual state of fleeing and flight from answerability. Responsibility, brothers and sisters, is a commitment to oneself. And so much of what I see going on right now in the output of some of these fighters, shows that the flight in boxing is far more prevalent than the fight demanded of warriorship and competition. Now, speaking of warriorship and competition, I definitely wanted to touch on the fight that took place last evening. I fell asleep through it, a little bit of it. I forgot what round, but I wound up kind of dozing off, and I kind of had to go back and watch the rest of that main event. Now, really good performance between Andy Cruz and Mortala last evening. Just definitely wanted to touch on this because it's of note, and I thought that we got a wonderful showing. Of some warriorship last night. You know what I mean? What a performance. I loved it. I thought it was really, really competitive. I think the boxing world definitely needs more of that level, of competitorship in the ring in real time. We definitely need more of these types of fights, brothers and sisters. It was a really, really good fight. Of course, Raymond pulled out the Vic and he retained his belt, right? He is still the champion. Congrats to Raymond Mortala, right, for getting that dub. This was definitely a close fight, brothers and sisters. It was absolutely a close fight. And I have been hearing myriad perspectives on, who think, people think one, they think the other one won, they think this person won. Very, very close fight. I definitely, I'm not mad at anybody who had it either way, right? People definitely had it a toss up. A lot of people were expecting Cruz to get that dub, and I was definitely one of them. I wasn't expecting him to. What I was expecting was a wonderful fight. That's what I knew I was going to get, but I did not know what to expect. But I definitely was rooting for Andy Cruz because I just, I like his style, and I like, I like the potential that he has. I want to see him get in there, and mix and match and mingle, with the elite. So I was definitely rooting for him to win. I think that, he's a fighter of really good talent, really good potential, and there's so much more on the horizon for him, even despite, taking this, his first professional L. But I would definitely be remiss, even though I was rooting for him, I would be remiss to not have considered the fact that, comparatively speaking, that is, just in context to his level of experience in the pros, I would be remiss not to have mentioned or not to have looked at the fact that he is way less experienced under the lights, in the professional setting. You know what I mean? That's something that was definitely a huge factor. And it's something that, I had to consider upon going into the fight, even though I was rooting for him, to win, even though I thought it would have been cool to see him, win. Now, let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, this was his, 7th fight that he had last evening, Andy Cruz? And it was against a man who was not only more seasoned as a pro, right? But who's a really, really good fighter in the brother Raymond Mortala. Mortala is not to be slept on, okay? And I definitely think that he proved that last night. I think he got a lot of people's attention last evening with the performance that he gave. Mortala showed generalship, right? He had effective power and aggression. You know what I'm saying? And he ensured pretty much to keep Cruz on the receiving end of a much more effective punishment every time Cruz seemed to get careless enough to stand in the pocket, right? Mortala, wasn't having that. He was all pressure last night. And Cruz, that's not to say that Cruz didn't inflict his own level of damage, because of course he did. He bust that man all up in his face, right? He had some wonderful moments in that fight, wonderful exchanges, particularly, I forget if that was the eighth or ninth round, one of those rounds. He was giving that business. You know what I'm saying? He was sitting down on them things, letting them things go. I love to see it. So he definitely inflicted damage on Mortala in this fight. He had a nice little jab working, at moments. He had a really nice combos that he would get in there. I liked his he had some nice right hands that he threw that I saw. This was definitely a hell of a competitive battle, you guys. I was like, okay, there's some good shit. These dudes are really dogging it out. You know what I mean? But that body work from Mortala, did y'all see that man working that body? Ooh, child. Absolutely savage body work from Mortala that I definitely enjoyed. He was digging and chopping wood round by round. And I think that it definitely diminished some of Cruz's sting in the championship rounds, particularly because it seemed like he let up off the gas a little bit. You know what I mean? That I noticed. And Mortala, you guys, was unrelenting in that pressure. He was absolutely non-stop. And what he did was he pretty much forced the boxer to bang and play his game. That's what it seemed like to me. Cruz, Cruz simply could not react with the defensive timing that he wanted to, it seemed to me, because he was majoritively placed in a position of offense in order to, try to subdue and quell Mortala's onslaught, right? So that he could, he was defensive. He had some night, he tried to move his head and stuff like that, but it just was not allowed to be effective because of the level of pressure that Mortala was putting on him. In other words, it was Raymond Mortala who forced Cruz, you know what I mean, to respond and adapt for the entire duration of the fight, brothers and sisters. The man was pressure from start to finish, right? And now that I think about it, there were really only a few moments where Cruz made Mortala pay for that aggressive output. There were a few moments where that happened, but it just didn't seem consistent to me, right? Anybody get that? There weren't as many consistent moments of him trying to abate that pressure from Mortala for me. I would have liked to see more of that. He was not consistent enough, in my view, in maintaining that. You know what I mean? I think that if he were, he would have definitely abated and quelled some of that confidence that Mortala had. He would have been able to effectively, counteract that and kept him, thinking twice about how he approached him. He wouldn't have been so confident if he was able to manage that a little bit better. That was just my view of it and looking at it. And, that of course brings into question the idea of being able to adapt. I didn't really see any adjustments really made on the part of Cruz. Did you guys? Did you guys see this man adjusting? I didn't really see no goddamn adjustments made. I definitely saw Mortala making Cruz have to adjust to that pressure. Interesting stuff. And this definitely brings into question, which I hear, a lot of people have been speaking about across social media, is, they've been calling into question the corner work of Bozy Ennis and the direction that was being given to Cruz in the corner. A lot of people had some criticisms about that. I have been hearing some interesting critique going around a little bit here and there of Bozy. People talking about what they felt was a lack of adjustment, guidance, and instruction on his part. Some people were not satisfied with the direction that he was giving Cruz in the corner, right? And some part of the critiques on that aspect of the lack of adjustment being issued was that Cruz, they didn't really work on him outgrowing his amateur style and approach in the ring. People felt like he's still sticking to kind of an amateur-ish style, that he has not transitioned into a professional type style. Some people felt like that worked against him and things like that, how he was maneuvering and stuff like that. Interesting stuff. Interesting fight that it was. I thought it was highly competitive, yet and still, even though this man only had, this was his seventh fight, right? I just felt like the work that he did showed Andy Cruz to be definitely a worthy warrior at 135. I think that he can definitely still do damage there, right? And I think that the same can be said for Mortala. Mortala put on a hell of a performance, and I'm sure that he caught and captured the attention of a lot of people who may not have been readily saying his name. I think he put on a wonderful performance to gain a lot of new respect. Because of his level of warriorship. I see why goddamn Shakur Stevenson been ducking that man for the last however many years, 3 years or something like that, right? Mortala. So I definitely think that both Mortala and Andy Cruz earned their place as dogs in the 135 division. Oh, additionally, I think that Andy Cruz can take so much from this experience. I know that the L is like the most devastating goddamn end of the world catastrophe, in the minds of some of these boxing fans now. You can't even, you can't take an L, which means you can't take a lesson and learn and grow. Your growth comes from experience, brothers and sisters. And as a competitor, 9 out of 10 times that's going to come in the form of taking a loss, right? You definitely have your lessons and your diamonds and your gems to pull from all of your victories. But the same goes for whatever challenges that you face or losses or defeats that you may take. This man, Andy Cruz, has so much that he can build upon from this fight because he really needed the experience because of his inexperience. I mean, this is 7th fight. He fought at the highest level, the championship level. He fought for the strap. He has a hell of a lot of homework that he can go home and study and augment, to his already wonderful style. A lot of material that he can use here to better himself as an athlete. There is nothing that man needs to be, feeling down about. He has a world of experience that he could have only gained in the field, in action, right? He has so much to take from this. As Afra mentioned, like I said, only, barely 7 fights. Barely 7 fights. I thought he did really, really good. I was definitely impressed with him. Definitely impressed. This man has so much room to improve upon. And he's already a formidable, type of fight. Add to your game. Add to your game. And if he's going to stay with Bozy, whatever little things that they need to work out as far as, getting him acclimated to, a pro style or just working to embellish upon. They don't have to really try to make him out to be something that he's not. Right? Embellish upon what he has, but definitely work out whatever kinks that this performance last night showed them. They have a lot of material to pull from to better, their game and to improve for the next time around. You know what I mean? I'd love to see Andy Cruz mix it up with whoever. Right? He can get it in with Abdullah. He can get it in with Schofield even. Zepeda is even available. Let's not forget Zepeda is still at 35, which would be, a good fight for him. There's people that he can scrap with and put on wonderful, wonderful fights with, brothers and sisters. There is no reason why anybody should be out here singing any type of sad songs of woe for Andy, right? He can get it in definitely in the future with all of those people at 135 if he decides to stay there, right, for however long. Now, also regarding Mortala, brothers and sisters, he made it known in a post-interview that he would like to face the winner of next week's bout between Shakur Stevenson and Tio. Did you guys hear him do his little call out? I was like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? When I first heard it, I'm like, all right, I hear you, Raymond. You know what I'm saying? Making your little call out, making your little intentions known. You guys already know that I like to hear fighters stake claim to what they want and stake claim to who they've got their target locked on. I'm definitely all for that. However, brothers and sisters, I got to keep it a buck about something that came to mind. I'm not sure if you guys had thought about this. But what I find curious was that, he mentioned that he'd go to 140 if need be. Did you guys hear that? He said if Shakur came back to 135, he would fight at 135, right? He says, but if either Tia or Core wanted it at 40, then he'd venture there. Now, I couldn't help but wonder immediately after hearing that, well, why didn't he call out the young lion Abdullah Mason, who is already at 135? You won't have to worry about going to 40. Don't you got another goddamn champion right there next to you? Abdullah Mason is a champ. You ain't got to go all venturing into nobody else's goddamn backyard. Abdullah right there, right? You know what I'm saying? Why you didn't call out Abdullah? Why not unify with Abdullah right there at 135? You know what I mean? What would be the point of moving up to 40 and bypassing a unification bout right where you are? Moreover, another thing that I thought was, if you're so open to going to 140, who the fuck isn't Mortala the IBF champion? If you're so interested in going to 140 as the IBF champion of 135, well, why you didn't call out the, in order to streamline your championship, why not call out the IBF champion over there, brothers and sisters? Which is Richardson Hitchens. Don't Hitchens hold the IBF strap at 140? Or am I tripping? To my knowledge, Richard Hitchens holds the goddamn IBF strap at 140. Why wouldn't you have, if you were looking to venture into 140 territory, why you didn't call out the motherfucker who's holding the same belt that you got at the weight class above you? Facts or no? I thought about that, you guys. That seems like a straight shot to me. You know what I mean? And it isn't anything that needs, any mitigating really. Or he can petition for that ASAP. You know what I'm saying? I want to fight the champ. I'm the IBF champ at 35. You know what I'm saying? I want to fight the champ at 140 for the IBF title. You know what I mean? And that way, he'd be a champion at super lightweight if he did that, right? And if he won, he would have some status and some stature if he wanted to fight at 140. If he would become a champion at 140, you got all the status and stature that you need. And you can fight whoever instead of going there with nothing to offer. Ladies and gentlemen, if he went to 140 right now, he would have nothing to offer. He can't bring his fucking championship at 35 to 140. It don't mean nothing at 140. You know what I'm saying? So that I was saying, I'm saying that to say that he would have his belt as leverage if he did it that way, in other words. That was my thought on that. Nonetheless, congrats to Raymond Mortala for grabbing that dub. We'll see what happens next, right? I guess depending on if he's serious about whoever wins next Saturday's fight, that he wanted to fight them. But I couldn't help but find that a little bit odd, brothers and sisters. Did anybody else peep that? Why would you want to fight at 140, or at least give that you would extend the opportunity going on 140 and you have nothing on the table? You have nothing to present on the table at 140. Whereas if you, let's say, wanted to fight Richard Hitchens for that IBF strap, that's all your leverage to get that fight. If you beat him, you are a champion. And people got to put respect on your name, goddamn, regardless at 140. Whether you fighting Shakur, Tio, or whoever the hell ever. Right? Interesting concept there. Oh, yeah. Something else curious before I check in with the good peeps. Something else curious that I came across surrounding the aftermath of this fight. Can somebody answer this question for me really quickly? Because I just can't seem to wrap the mind around this. What was Keyshawn Davis so ecstatic about another man's work? Why was he so happy? Did anybody else ask that question? Did you guys see Keyshawn Davis dancing up a storm? You know what I mean? Getting in front of every goddamn camera, moving and twitching and flicking belts every goddamn where in one video. Why is he so happy about another man's work? Didn't he fail that mission like 3 or 4 goddamn times against Andy Cruz? He failed. He absolutely failed the mission against Cruz Something like 4 fucking times, brothers and sisters. You failed. Why are you happy like you gave the motherfucker belt to ass? That shit was so goddamn childish, you guys. I'm sitting there looking at that like, oh my God, Keyshawn. God damn. Can you get any more motherfucking low and petty and just imbecilic? What's going on with this man, Keyshawn Davis, brothers and sisters? And moreover, isn't he the fucking man who wanted absolutely no problems with Andy Cruz all this goddamn time since they've been in the goddamn pros? He didn't say a goddamn thing about Andy Cruz. This man was scared to say Andy Cruz's name for I don't know how long. Andy Cruz been saying everything about this man. I'd love to fight him again. Yeah, Keyshawn's my son. Saying everything to get smoked with Keyshawn Davis. Everything to break a foot up, off in his ass again. And Keyshawn been, turning around, acting like he ain't been hearing all the type of crazy ass calls this man been making for him. Ain't you the motherfucker that been ducking and sidestepping this man like your life goddamn depended on it? Now you so happy and goddamn parading and cheerleading because Moratala fought him and got the victory last evening? What a cowardly chump way of I just thought that was so chump. I'm like, what is this man doing? What is this man doing? Did you guys see that footage of Keyshawn? So goddamn happy, brothers and sisters. I mean, just ecstatic, tickle pink. You'd have thought he was getting a trip to goddamn Disney World out here, brothers and sisters. I'm like, what's going on? Interesting stuff. Now, there was a clip that I posted on my Twitter, and the one that you probably have been seeing circulating, the one showing where Keyshawn was holding the belt and just whipping that belt around, pretty much denoting that, what's the name, got his ass kicked, belt to ass, or whatever notion that was. He's trying to suggest poking fun mockingly at Andy Cruz, which I guess can be seen as a ha-ha moment, right? Because they are rivals. Right. And a lot of people have been trying to justify that, saying, oh, well, Andy was calling him his son and stuff like that. Andy was calling him his son because he wanted smoke. That's why Andy said, yeah, you my son. Tell my son to call me for Father's Day. He ain't call me and say happy Father's Day. I'm disappointed as a father. Tell that man to call me. Yes, he is making fun. You guys are rivals. And he wants the business with you. Where you at? That's what the fuck he's saying. Keyshawn ain't saying that. Keyshawn is hauling ass away from that man continually. And now you want to sit back, throw bones, and hide now that he took his first professional loss. Where the fuck was all that rah-rah and belt whipping around when he was calling you for the smoke? You fucking ducked for cover, Keyshawn. Facts and no, brothers and sisters. That would have been a different story if Andy Cruz was saying, yeah, you my son. Call me for Father's Day. Where's my son at? I'm trying to get my son. Where's my son? Anybody see my son? Where's he at? And Keyshawn was like, yo, send this motherfucker a contract. Send this motherfucker a contract. We're going to see who's father. You know what I mean? It'd have been different. He fucking ducked and dodged for cover. He act like that man, Andy Cruz, didn't even exist in his weight class. Ladies and gentlemen, Keyshawn's first fight at 140 is just now happening next week. He's been at 135 this whole goddamn time. Said not one word about getting it cracking, getting it popping with Andy Cruz. Saying everybody else's name except Andy goddamn Cruz, brothers and sisters. That's what makes this whole thing laughable to me. Is that all of a sudden he has the courage to get on somebody's camera and posture anything in the direction of Andy Cruz. Right? Especially cowardly in lieu of it being done, all of these antics being done simply because Andy took his first professional loss. That's when he gets the courage and the boldness to get on camera and direct any energy in Andy Cruz's direction. I thought that was very laughable and very cowardly. I'm going to keep it a buck about that, right? So, I get the whole rivalship, but I thought that was cowardly. I really, really did. Now, And let's not forget that, this was a close war. This wasn't like he got washed or anything like that. This man had a formidable opponent in front of him, a formidable champion, to which he gave a highly arguable, debatable, performance for, as far as him getting a victory. There are people out here that says Andy Cruz dead ass won that goddamn fight. And people were definitely perturbed at the judge who scored it. What was it? 118, 110 or something like that, right? Oh, people out here stepping for Andy like, nah, Andy actually won that fight. So it's not like he got washed or anything like that. What is this man Keyshawn doing? Right? Sassy and petty as hell. You couldn't beat this motherfucker, Andy Cruz, to save your goddamn life. But you want to cheerlead for the nigga that beat him? Like you his chick or something? Yeah, baby. Go ahead, daddy. Go beat him up. Give him. Take that. Take that, daddy. Make sure you get him upside the head. Daddy, there you go. There you go, daddy. Get him. that's did anybody else get that energy? That's what, this motherfucker is cheerleading for the next man. And you couldn't fucking do shit with his ass. 3-4 fucking times. You failed. You failed the mission miserably. You crashed and fucking burned every time with Andy Cruz. But you cheering this nigga on. Insane work. The shit is so lame. How about you beat him and then you can throw your little parade? You go beat him and then you celebrate. Chump ass nigga. I just couldn't help it. I'm just sitting there looking at that, y'all, like, oh my God, that was so cringe to me, you guys. Absolutely cringe. Now, additionally, you guys, wasn't this the same chump who was crying about kicking people while they're down when he was going through that whole scandal after he made a mockery of himself last year when he missed the weight and threw his biggest fight of his career completely down the drain? Wasn't he complaining about people saying, oh, well, you don't kick people when they're down. And I think people just want to see me down. Why they don't lift me up just because I, suffered this situation. You know what I mean? Don't kick a man when he's down. Wasn't he crying that shit? Wasn't that him? The absolute gall and nerve of this lame to be waving around some goddamn pom-poms and throwing glitter up in the air because Andy Cruz lost after having a wonderful display of warriorship in the ring with Mortala. How fucking dare you? Things like that, in my view, really soil what should be savored as a phenomenal night of boxing, brothers and sisters. Things like that level of output, it really diminishes the spirit of what we should actually be relishing as boxing fans, which is the fact that we got a wonderful, wonderful display of competition in that ring between two warriors, two wonderful fighters that put it on the line. They was in there getting that business. You hear me? They wasn't playing in that goddamn ring. Neither of them. They was getting that work. I don't like that type of shit that soils the spirit of that. It puts on an immature air, that fighters don't lose or aren't supposed to lose, which is absolute nonsense. I don't like that energy. I hate and despise that particular level of energy. It's weird to me. It's frail as fuck. And you know what I'm saying? I don't like that. We lose sight of the warriorship, that we just got to experience when we see things like that. It's senseless. It's pointless. I thought that was a worthless distraction by Keyshawn, and it was a way for him to vie for attention that I find to be so, bereft of purpose and meaning, and it's childish and it's immature. Then, did you guys see him dancing and doing the motherfucking cha-cha with Rolly? What is going? Rolly? You celebrating with that motherfucking chump? Of all goddamn people, you celebrating with Rolly? The most motherfucking worthless fighter in boxing right now? One of them at least? Rolly goddamn Romero is who you sell? This fucking worthless, spineless ass, heartless, coward ass puss? You doing a motherfucking bachata with that man in celebration? That Andy Cruz lost? That's the person? And Rolly Romero, the motherfucker who couldn't find a shred of his own goddamn balls to fight Devin Haney just a few months ago, ducked and dodged that man like a straight sucker. That's who you celebrating with? Rolly Romero, motherfucker that ducked any and all means of smoke with the best fighter in his own goddamn division? Ducked for cover? Lord have mercy. 2 fucking ducks. Because that's what they are. Because Keyshawn ducked and clout chased Devin Haney. So look at that. You got 2 ducks playing patty motherfucking cake at the thought of another man's loss? What the fuck has boxing come to, brothers and sisters? This shit is nasty work. The imagery of that is diabolical to me. Meanwhile, speaking of the young King Devin, right? He took to Twitter and he said to Andy Cruz in response to the outcome of the fight, he says, listen, you ain't got nothing to hang your head about. That was a hell of a performance, especially considering that was your 7th fight. You will bounce back. That's Devin. That's a real champion. Looking at another fighter with wonderful potential and saying, yo, phenomenal performance. Hold your head. Hold your head. Nothing to be ashamed of. Hell of a performance. That's championship, brothers and sisters. That's class. I don't think anybody can say that we did not get a hell of a performance last night. Anybody who watched that fight, I have not heard any complaints, and I don't think anybody can honestly sit there and complain about what they saw between those 2 men in that ring. Competitive fight, right? High-spirited fight, high energy, high action-packed fight. That's what we want. You got to respect both of those warriors. This wasn't some fucking fugazi-ass skullduggery in the ring. That was warriorship, brothers and sisters. Facts or no? These are the types of fights that we want more of. We want to salute those warriors. We want to encourage, the elite fighting the elite. The people who we consider to be of considerable, notable talent, getting in the ring with each other. That's what we want to encourage. That's what we want to incite. We want to incite that. We want to reinforce these types of fights. Not fucking throw bones and fucking hide like some fucking sassy ass chumps. What is going on? We want to see the best, the elite, fighting each other. Who the fuck would throw salt on that? Except a sassy ass nigga with a sassy ass mentality. Chump ass mentality. That shit was whack to me. The goal, especially of all people like Rolly goddamn Romero and Keyshawn, who just came off a whole clout chasing tour and ducked fucking Devin. Crazy work, you guys. And been ducking Cruz all this goddamn time. Motherfucker that he couldn't put in the goddamn dirt himself. Coward. Oh, child, I hated that. Let me check in with the good people before we move on. Let me scroll some ways up and see who came in the building. Infinite blessings to the family. Salute to the great Mike in the building. I see you, great Mike. Blessings to you. Infinite blessings to my number 1 comrade, the king and the coach Hudson in the building. He says, salute to my number 1 comrade, the queen of boxing media, SugarFreeMars. Peace to the chat. Infinite blessings to the comrade. 10 toes on deck in the building. I went a ways up. Hold on. Let me scroll back down. Yes, here for boxing. Me too. That's a fight I would definitely like to see, take place the second time. I would not mind that at all. A rematch between Mortala and Cruz. I would not oppose that at all. That was a hell of a damn fight. They did really, really, really well, in my view. Let me see. Salute to the King Prize in the building. I see you, King Prize. My twin says, I think Cruz stunned Mortala a few times, but never stuck with it. And Mortala seemed to recover quickly. Yeah, absolutely. He was unrelenting, you guys, that Mortala. Absolutely nonstop. So, if he was hurt, he did not show a level of being rattled to the degree that would slow him down in the least bit. He was on fire. He was unrelenting with that pressure. He seemed like he didn't give a damn what you was throwing at him. he was absolutely intent on doing what he needed to do, on pushing out his onslaught, which he was definitely effective at. You know what I mean? And that goes back to the part where I was saying that he made Andy Cruz have to respond. He made Andy Cruz have to adjust to his energy, to his dominance. Andy did not have, like you said, too many moments where he was sticking with that, with his own, dominion, as far as imposing the fact that Moratala makes some adjustments to him, right? He seemed more susceptible to Moratala, which was an interesting dynamic in the ring. Salute to the king, DP in the building. The twin also said, I noticed that Bozy kept telling Cruz to push Moratala backwards. Yeah, I heard that too. He's like, push him back, push him back. I'm like, huh? Twin also, he added, as a boxer, the instruction should have been stick and move, use distance, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely. He was fighting Moratala's fight, 1000%. And here is Bozy telling him to push him back, push him back. It's like, no, like there has to be an ebb and a flow, right? It's just, yeah, I didn't like that particular direction either, twin. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it in my mind and I'm like, yeah. I didn't hear any moments where he was telling him, to move around, to stick out, to use his jab. You know what I mean? I didn't see any instance where Bozy was giving that particular direction. A lot of people were unsatisfied with Bozy's corner work, which was interesting, right? Salute to the king, Uncommon in the building. I see you. He said, salute to the warrior queen, SugarFreeMars, and the family in the chat. Smash the like button. Yeah, you guys, definitely smash the like button. I tend to forget to say that. Blessings to the king, Uncommon in the building. Salute to the king, D-Man. I see you. Infinite blessings to the king, D-Man. Infinite blessings to the king, CDB in the building. I hear you. Thank you for joining. Yeah, you guys, what else did you guys think? Oh, yeah, definitely, Twin. Twin says, Keyshawn better be careful. Jermaine Ortiz can do the same to Keyshawn next week. Facts. Big facts. Oh, my goodness, the King Caldwell is in the building. Big blessings. Infinite blessings to the King Caldwell. Thank you so much for joining, King. I appreciate you. The King here for boxing says, we call that in Philly claiming someone else's wreck. Absolutely. That's 1000% what was being done by Keyshawn with that nonsense. I'm looking at this man like, what is going on? Shit is crazy. I did not like it at all, you guys. Salute to the King Nugs. I see you, King. Blessings to you. Blessings to the King Des. Yes, I see the good family making their way in. Yeah, so that's kind of what I thought about that, you guys. Now, speaking of, since we're on the idea of Moratala entertaining the idea to fight Shakur Stevenson, let's look at Shakur Stevenson, or something that I found I don't know, reckless or just dumbfounding, all types of things I can think of to describe how I felt in viewing this particular clip that I came across of Keyshawn. Now, the man came out and stated, because you guys know that I have been asking, what the hell is Keyshawn Davis going to do, right? What are his goals, right? Speaking of responsibility and people assuming that and claiming their responsibility, knowing their role, setting a path for themselves and remaining committed to that. You guys know I have been asking nonstop ever since learning of Shakur Stevenson's venture up to 140 against Tio. I've been asking, what is he going to do? I have not been knowing what the fuck his motives were, what his intentions were, right? Turns out, you guys, I had my goddamn question answered since we had last spoken. Man motherfucking came out and said that after his bout with Teofimo Lopez next week, brothers and sisters, he will be moving back down to 135. This is what he said. This is what he said, brothers and sisters. And yo, I was so annoyed when I heard this. I can't even tell you. He said, this is what he said. He said he's returning right back to 35 if he can't get a, big fight. Here he goes again. I'm going back to 35 if I can't get a big fight at the higher weight class, is what he said. And he once again proceeds to cap his ass off in one particular clip about how small he is. There he go. His favorite thing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so small, y'all. Look at this small, tight little waist child. I am barely 135. This is what he went back to saying again. I'm going back down to 35 because I'm so small of a fighter. I'm so small. I am not a 140 pounder, y'all. I'm small. I'm a tiny little 135 pounder is what this man says, right? All I could think, brothers and sisters, when I heard this was, if that's the case, what the fuck are you up there to 140 with T.O. to begin with then? If you're so goddamn small. If you on this small parade, oh, I'm so tiny. I'm so little, child. Look at this waist. Look at the side of this waist, child. It's so tight and tiny. I'm absolutely sick of Shakur Stevenson, you guys. What the fuck is this man doing? What is he doing? If you're so goddamn small, if your waist is so motherfucking snatched, why are you fighting Teofimo Lopez to begin with? What is the point of this fight? What the hell are you doing up there at all? If that's the goddamn case. If you're going to complain about being 140. Rocking up at 140 with all them dogs up there. What's the point? What is the purpose of this Teofimo Lopez fight, brothers and sisters? Can somebody tell me? Because I seem to have missed the point. You guys, I have lost even more interest in this particular bout next week. It's purposeless to me. And you guys already know that I had been positing questions surrounding this lackluster reception that this fight has been giving. Well, here is a viable reason why this fight has little to no engagement with it. Because no stakes, no claims have been made. What the fuck is the claim? If you don't even intend to stay there and make your mark. I have lost even more interest, brothers and sisters. Because there is no purpose within it. And he's definitely put the stamp on that with that coward-ass, sucker-ass statement. Am I tripping or not? What the fuck does he mean? Oh, if I can't get a fight at 140, I'm going back to 35 with my small waist. Excuse me? Excuse me, sir? Did anybody hear that man call, did anybody hear him? If he want the big fights at 140, how the fuck you gonna do that and you ain't call nobody out? Did anybody see any motivation towards fighting anybody at 140? What do you mean big fights? All them goddamn names up there at 140, take your motherfucking pick. Anybody would be a big fight up there. Did anybody hear him call the name of goddamn Gary Antoine Russell? Did anybody hear him call out the newly crowned Dalton Smith? Did anybody hear him call out Richardson Hitchens? A serious attempt at beheading those dudes up there? No. Did he utter the name of Frank Martin even? Who he got that history with? And who he need to get that business in with at some goddamn point? What you talk about? Big fight. If I can't get the big fight, I'm going back to 135. This man has motion for absolutely no smoke whatever up there. Aren't you the A-side? Shakur Stevenson will undoubtedly be the A-side to somebody like Hitchens. Who the fuck are you sending a goddamn offer to? Where is your proposal? Are you making any propositions or no? What is he doing? Why is he sitting back reticent? As if he's, in the passenger seat. He can absolutely get the ball rolling and set in motion any of those names, and fights with those particular names up there. He is not a passenger in this. This shit is absolutely weird to me. His every intention, brothers and sisters, I have come to this conclusion, has been to run his ass all the while. He wanted to take he and his little small waist back to 135 from jump. He had no intentions of getting busy with anybody damn body up there. Nobody. Except Tio, because Tio was the weakest link and the most viable option that he felt that he could supersede, that he felt that he could overpower out of all of those dudes up there with names at 140. He felt Tio was the weakest goddamn link, brothers and sisters. We know what time it is. That's why he was so alacritous about getting the Tio fight, solidifying that Tio fight. Wants no smoke with nobody else up there. That was his best option. He feels like he can get the edge over Tio. It is what the fuck it is. Crazy work. This is what he said in the clip that I saw, because the one with the that I mentioned earlier is a different one. This is the one that I came across that just had me just absolutely dumbfounded. He said, quote, I was disgusted, brothers and sisters. This is what he said. Quote, I'm going to tell y'all in advance, and y'all can take it however y'all want. Y'all can call it whatever y'all want. I'm going to beat Tio and get the title, and I'm going to vacate, and Keyshawn can get the belt, and that'll be his belt. End quote. Do you hear this, brothers and sisters? I'm going to get the belt. I'm going to beat Tio, get the belt, vacate, and Keyshawn can get that belt. That'll be his belt. Can somebody get these fucking chumps out of boxing, please? What type of crazy ass, sus ass, sassy ass, soft ass shit is that? These motherfuckers out here playing games, y'all. Did you hear this? That's what this man said, brothers and sisters. If you guys are not on Twitter, I posted it on my page, right? Or I'm sure if you maybe can find it on YouTube or whatever have you. What the fuck kind of hopscotch shit is this? I am so appalled. I'm beyond words, good people. The blatant carelessness with which he can sit there and make such a statement is astounding to me. Absolutely astounding that he is comfortable enough to be on camera talking that soft ass shit like that. I'm going to get the belt vacated, and that's his belt. Sean can get that. That'll be his belt. Huh? You just can't make this stuff up. I was like, what? Shakur Stevenson, good people, unfortunately, has absolutely proven that he does not want to compete at the elite level. That is my posit this evening to you. Seems to me that so long as the parameters, the gauge in which he can control, the temperature is out of his hands, so long as those factors are not within his control, he is not interested in competing. I'm absolutely convinced of that at this point, y'all. I ain't even going to cap. That was not only a jarring statement to behold, good people, but what a pompous and turgid posture for him to assume for somebody who is about to have his first real badge of honor next week against Tio. This motherfucking talking, like he done earned and reserved the right. Like he done fought the best, and now he can just make all types of decisions, have the leisurely approach to make these types of decisions because he done already laid that groundwork and put that work in. This is how he's coming across, brothers and sisters, like he done did some shit in the sport. To be so leisurely and relaxed. Crazy work to me. And I couldn't also help but think, is this the type of cowardly move that this man is going to be awarded with being called a 4-division champion via this cowardly shit? Yes, he's going to be, if he's successful, he's going to be able to be called a 4-division champion. But can I fucking count that? When you go up there to fight the weakest link in a division and haul your ass and tuck your tail back to 135, no intentions on getting busy with them other killers? What the fuck? Am I supposed to reward that? A man who has no motivation or aspiration to compete at that division? What the fuck is the point of getting a strap? You just want to have that moniker of a 4-division champion? Brothers and sisters, is this man ever going to be undisputed in boxing? Is that ever going to happen? The man's last unification, now that I think of it, was against goddamn Valdez. And that was something like 4 fucking years ago, brothers and sisters, or just about 4 years ago. He has not unified since. I believe that was back in 22, if I'm not mistaken. You haven't unified, you haven't done a goddamn thing. And as far as undisputed goes, we already know how that fucking story goes, ladies and gentlemen. He absolutely ducked Devin Haney in the biggest opportunity of his life. And ever since ducking undisputed with the young king, he has been on record. I'm not sure if you guys had came across that over the past, I want to say, year and a half or so. Corey Stevenson has been on record lamenting like a fucking puss about why he does not want to become undisputed because, the politics of boxing. I'm not interested in undisputed anymore. So this motherfucker is not even interested in the biggest accolade that any fighter on earth can claim in the sport. I hear nobody talking about this. What is this man doing in boxing, brothers and sisters? Except wasting motherfucking time. You duck Devin. You don't want to fight Devin. You ducking all the smoke, all the hitters up there, all the sharks up there at 140. You're going in there trying to get who you think is the weakest link in Teofimo Lopez, but we can't even vouch for that. Because we don't know what T.O. is going to show up, fuck around and find out, and lose to the nigga. And then what? Even though I'm expecting him to pull off the Vic. But still. You think you're going to go in there and be a walk in the park with T.O.? Okay, let's say you do defeat him. What about all these other hitters up here? Since you there, why not get it popping? Why not actually make a mark? Taking a strap from who you think is the weakest is some sucker shit. When you have no intention on fighting the people who are actually viable competitors, formidable competitors, and would be the best on your resume. Like I said, resume-wise, Teofimo is the first and the only real test that we'll see of Shakur Stevenson up until this point. Come next Saturday, brothers and sisters. Why not go further? Where is Shakur Stevenson's responsibility to warriorship in this type of output? What's going on? I don't hear talking about this, I don't hear any virtually. None of his goddamn man fans seem to be able to drum up some type of reasoning or logic that can explicate this level of moribund, effete, timorous logic that this man is holding with this type of posture he's taking. Absolutely effete behavior. Spineless. Frail. I don't like that, y'all. Could not believe what I was hearing in that clip. Yeah, I'm gonna beat T.O. I'm vacating the belt, and that's Keyshawn's belt. He can have, that's his belt. The fuck? No wonder why nobody has been galvanized about this fight with Teofimo Lopez, brothers and sisters. There is no stake being claimed, like I said. He is not claiming any turf. He has no intention of claiming turf. It's a waste of time. Tio is already a champion at 140, brothers and sisters. He's already the champ. So he's already on his turf. So whether Teofimo loses or wins, you know, he can go on knocking on the doors of whoever he chooses, pretty much. He can go on assuming opportunities at 140 for himself because he's already there. That's already his grounds. Corey Stevenson is barely 1 foot in the door of 140 and admittingly abdicating the opportunity to claim smoke there. Why would you abdicate that? Why would you abdicate the claiming of smoke? Recoil and relinquish. It's just weird to me. There is no way that I will back that level of, you know, sardonic, delusive inanity, pointlessness. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. That's absolute inanity to me on every level. It's a waste of time. My issue stems from the fact that this man could have lined up a unification with Abdullah. You know, he could have just waited, you know, and got it popping with Mortala from the jump. He could have said, all right, you know, let me just do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm a reign here. Let's get some unifications popping here. He would have had to go around trying to convince the world about how small and petite he was to go to 140 and fighting, you know, for the world to believe that he's all of a sudden overnight this tiny little petite little thing that you got to handle delicately because his waist is so snatched and so small. You know what I mean? He would have had to do all that talking, all that wasting of time if he would have just stayed where the fuck he's at and unified. That would have been better than you just going up to 140 to waste time, only to haul your ass right back to 130 goddamn 5. How about you motherfucking unify finally, brother? You're going to wait 4 more years to unify? It's already been fucking 4 years. When is he going to amass some stature and some status? He's just hanging along the fringes to me. And I don't understand why, especially with somebody who we consider to be of such latent potential, such promising potential. He is wasting time in my view, y'all. I cannot help but feel that. What is this pump faking like you want smoke and you fucking backtracking, showing all types of reticence? Simping for fucking worthless ass fights like goddamn Conor Ben. When after, you know, you bite the head off of Teofimo Lopez, you should be calling for all those hitters. Every hitter around you. Lord have mercy. That shit makes me sick to my goddamn stomach. Get that motherfucker out of my face with that pussy shit. I am so through with Shakur Stevenson. So long as he's on that type of time, I'm not with it. Whether I like him or not, I'm not with it. I don't like that. Shakur has not taken any onus for his movements, brothers and sisters. Responsibility for his movements. I find Shakur Stevenson to be in constant flight. Flight from his own responsibility, flight from his own certification, flight from his own prestige. You know what this man could be doing? The things that he could be achieving right now, if he just stood solid 10 toes on some shit, he is in constant flight, brothers and sisters. He changes his direction every fucking 72 hours, it seems. Mentality is all types of fickle. His mentality is a lot like his fight style. Jittery and on the goddamn move. Circling around. He does not like the weight of pressure and responsibility. That's what I'm pulling from all of his behaviors and antics. And what he's been displaying of his mindset. This is why we see him speaking so contradictory to his own beliefs. 1 minute he says this, impassioned by this. Next minute, fucking switch up, change up, saying the goddamn opposite. 5 seconds later. What the fuck? I want to be undisputed. I want to get belt by belt by belt by belt. I want to take it off of a champion one by one by one by one. Next fucking minute, oh, there's too many politics that happen in boxing, y'all. You know, I don't want to be undisputed. I'm not interested anymore. What the hell? 1 minute, oh, my waist is so small and so snatched out. You should get a look at this waist, baby. Next minute, oh, Conor Ben, let's fight at 154. Now you hear weight don't mean shit. My skills supersede weight. It's like, what is this? What's happening here, y'all? Why does this man constantly talk with 2 goddamn tongues? It's diabolical to me. He got to goddamn get it together, because it'll be a hell of a waste to sit back and watch this man continually waste time and space and talent. He should be way further along than he is, but it is his reticence. It is his lack of claiming a responsibility that is withholding him from the level of warriorship and character and display that could have him at the forefront, at the helm of the sport. Crazy work. He's tripping over his own feet. And he refuses to be upright. What do you guys think about that, y'all? I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys think about that, because I know that a lot of people rock with Shakur Stevenson. You know, he has a very solid base. Hold on, let me take a sip of my water, you guys. I know that Shakur has a very solid base and a lot of people rock with him or whatever. Like I said, I have been rocking with Shakur Stevenson for a very long time, since the outset, you know, since him coming out of the Olympics and stuff like that, and seeing him venture into the pros. I have been an avid Shakur Stevens supporter up until, I want to say, the last year and a half. You know what I'm saying? My support dwindled of his, because I just didn't like his moves over the past, let's say, year and a half, 2 years or so. You know, and I find myself constantly recoiling and backtracking away, you know, from the level of support that I once held and had for him, because I don't see alacrity within him. I don't see a level of alacrity. I don't see the need, you know, to really, really claim turf. He's like one of those kids that you see in class that are really, really smart, but they want to get along with the in crowd. And so they start doing dumb shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, yo, you already know what's going on. Why are you acting like, you know what I'm saying, you don't have the intelligence to be able to succeed and to thrive here? You know what I'm saying? You want to go ahead and go follow the direction of it. That's what it feels like one of those situations, right? Except in this case, of course, he is no child. He is a grown man, making terrible, terrible decisions that are withholding him from a level of stature and prominence that he could really, really claim in boxing, you guys. Or at least that's what we feel his potential to hold to some capacity or to a degree, right? I don't think anybody would disagree that Shakur Stevenson is one of the most talented, you know, young fighters that we have, of our fighters, our Black fighters. Shakur Stevenson is definitely a part of that dialogue and conversation. Why isn't he further? You know, he feels like he's on a C level. It's a you know, who we consider to be an A level potential, operating on C minus motherfucking time and energy. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Let me check in with the good people. Because y'all been saying what y'all been saying. I see y'all clicking in the chat. Let me goes up a little ways. You got the King Caldwell says, I went a ways up, you guys. He says, Sugar Free, you got me weak. Shakur out there. Out here with it's giving petite vibes. Yes, child. He is, you know I ain't lying, King Caldwell. Brothers and sisters, how many times have you heard this man refer to how tiny he is? He loves it. All of a sudden, overnight, this man became, a size 2. Oh, look at this little waist, child. No. Look at this little waist. This little waist is just too petite. Too petite to be dealing with the big boys. I'm just way too small. Meanwhile, this motherfucker's the same size as goddamn Devin Haney. Put him in a picture next to goddamn Terrence Crawford. You can't even tell the goddamn difference as far as their size. Outside of camp. Shakur Stevenson is not a small man, brothers and sisters. What the fuck is in his mind that's making him think he's me? You know what I'm saying? Like he's like motherfucking, it's just crazy. When the fuck did me and Shakur Stevenson switch bodies, brothers and sisters? It does not make sense. I don't know why this man keeps posturing that he is small, that he is just like, this little, tiny little, you know what I'm saying? Not true. It's weird that he keeps doing every interview. He keeps saying that as of late. The King Uncommon says, now that Tank is seemingly out of the picture, Shakur seems to be aiming to take his place by following the same narrative playbook. He's just repeating all of the nonsense the Tick Maniacs used to say. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's very tankerish. And I had pointed to that in previous discussions, that very aspect that, the charades are very, very much with the purple pain energy all over it, right? It's weird. Absolutely strange to me. What are these fucking people doing? You know what I mean? And it's already, it suffices to say that nobody has, ever since Devin Haney became undisputed and of course went on to bigger and better things. Hold on, let me get my charger. Went on to bigger and better things. 135 had not been motherfucking unified since the young king left. It's just absolutely reckless. You know what I'm saying? As one of the premier things, outside of Tank Davis, who also held that stature at 135, of course, it was Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson. They were the ones at 135. They were the ones. Yet neither of those men took it upon themselves to become a unified champion, to start unifying and collecting the straps. It's just diabolical to me on every level. So he is absolutely mirroring, the movements and even the disposition that Tank Davis had. He is assuming that. He has absolutely taken that on. It's weird. The twin says, especially to pay $70 for this, I'm seriously considering watching it at Buffalo Wild Wings or something. I mean, the fight absolutely has garnered virtually no interest at all, as we know, because we have been discussing, the little to no coverage and buzz, around it. Even from people who are familiar and are, who know the date, who know that the fight is going to happen, the engagement level is non-existent. And we see why. Now we can put, a face to it. This man doesn't even intend on claiming turf. He wants to collect the belt so that he can pass it over to Keyshawn. What the fuck is this? If Keyshawn is worthy, he can go get his own belt. What, you ain't got to give him nothing? What the fuck you mean? I'm going to get the belt and then give it to Keyshawn. He can have it. That's his belt. What? He's spoon-feeding this nigga now? He wanted, he can go take it. What the fuck you got to do with this shit? The shit is sassy, y'all. I don't like it at all. The great Mike, salute to you, King. He says, eventually the walls will close in on Shakur, Hitchens, and Keyshawn scary asses. Word up. Word up. Absolute facts, twin. No intentions of taking over 140. No intentions on fighting Devin. I highly doubt he fights Mortala or Mason. Yeah, absolutely. Because we already know that he already, had his alibi good and ready to not fight Abdullah. Right? We talked about that as well in the previous discussion. Oh, he's so, he tried to little boy. Oh, he's so young. You know what I'm saying? He got a ways to go. Yeah. But I won't fight him right now. He can like what the fuck you mean? This nigga's a champion in your weight class. Why are you talking like this? You can't stand next to me with the motherfucking hot plate of motherfucking fried chicken and the goddamn macaroni and the yams and act like I'm not coming up to take that shit and eat and devour and clean my goddamn plate. Excuse me? Not on my goddamn watch. Abdullah can't be sitting comfortably at one goddamn 35. If you intend to go back to 135 and actually be a standing champion at 135, nobody should be comfortable when you're around. These motherfuckers don't want to clean their goddamn plates. They playing with their fucking food. It's weird, you guys. I don't like it at all, you guys. Disgusting work to me. The King Uncommon came back. He says, bro, really trying to be on some team shit in boxing. This is crazy. This is an individual sport, nigga. Go join a bowling league if you want to be on a squad so bad. Thank you, King Uncommon. What is this? What are these people talking about, St. Louis? It's insane. Yes, Harvey, salute to you, by the way. They are forming teams in boxing. I did not know boxing was a goddamn team sport. I did not know. We were watching football. Speaking of football, to all my football lovers up in here. I did not know this was a game of volleyball. What is this? No. You got to go in there and you got to claim turf. You got to claim turf. Y'all can be friends after the competition, outside of the parameters of competition. It's just diabolical to me. This shit is soiling the sport on so many levels. And that is why I named the program of today's discussion, the ONUS. Nobody wants to assume. Well, these particular, I will not say nobody, but these particular fighters that are exemplifying this level, of mindset, of this disposition, are refraining from assuming the onus of warriorship, their responsibility to claim turf as warriors in boxing. This is becoming a trend. Why are we seeing this replicated? We went from somebody like a Tank Davis who had, I would say, really geared that up, put forth that particular mindset. And we are seeing it replicated now with Shakur Stevenson. We are seeing Keyshawn Davis follow suit with this type of inanity and folly. What? Diabolical work, you guys. That has to be discussed and it has to be called out for what it is. It's disgusting. Salute to the King. What is this? I don't know. I have to turn my screen up, you guys. Oh, out the mud. I had my screen so low. Out the mud. Salute to you. He says, I'm listening and you cooking per usual. Thank you, King. I appreciate you. Ain't it? Ain't that facts, you guys? Crazy work to me. King Uncommon is cooking today. He says, all the nonsense narratives Tankamaniacs were desperately trying to push on Devin were actually Shakur this whole time. Shakur is the one who wanted to be just like Tank, and it's being revealed now. Interesting point. The twin says, that's why the promo sucks for this fight. It's a fight between two bitches. Definitely, twin. Definitely. The King Snoopy says Shakur will never fight a person we want him to fight. He only fights people he's supposed to win against. I don't see all these so-called skills he has. Anybody looks good against weak competition. Interesting point. You know what I'm saying? And it's a very difficult point, but it is a poignant point in my view. Even though it can come off as harsh or highly critical of Shakur Stevenson or whatever, it's not to say that, like I said, he doesn't hold the potential. But we would be remiss not to acknowledge the level of competition that he's faced compared to somebody, you know, like T.O., compared to somebody like Devin, compared to Loma, compared to, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Even goddamn Cambosis, even Jermaine Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always say that Teofimo is Shakur Stevenson's real first test. This is going to be his real first test of stature against a viable, formidable name on his resume. Teofimo absolutely supersedes every other name on Shakur Stevens' resume, right? And so this is good, but that does not dissuade from the fact that he feels that Teofimo is the weakest option at 140 for whatever reason, right? Whether he is or not will be proven next Saturday, but that is the overwhelming reason in my view, right? As to why he took this particular fight and as to why he intends to haul ass out of there. That's why he's making the excuse. It's to save face. Oh, if I can't get the big fights, then I'm going back to 135. Like I said, as if he's not the fucking driver. You dictate to whoever the fuck you want at 140 because you're the name. You got the backing, right? He can call the shots to say, Antoine, what's up? I'm outside. Where you at? Let's get it popping. He can turn to Dalton Smith. Yeah, good performance you just put on, but I'm trying to cook you and unify and take that strap. Turn to Hitchens. They've been pattying it up on social goddamn media. Turn to his ass. Go take his goddamn strap or whatever. What's going on? Like I said, he is not on the passenger side. He can absolutely get the ball rolling on getting whatever fight he want made at 140. And that goes without saying that he already know what's popping with Devin. Devin been looking at him as food. You can always get it. You can motherfucking get it with Debo. But you too scared. That's why you claim into the world how tight your waist is. How you a bad bitch out here with the little waist. Oh, and the small back. Ooh, look at this. Let me turn around. Did you see how small my waist is, child? I'm so sick of this man. Absolutely sick of that man, y'all. Yes, twin. The team up with your adversary era. I blame LeBron. Oh my goodness, you guys. Absolutely diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. Oh my God. King Snoop, you are wild. Not the anus. The onus, King. ONUS. He says, I thought it said the anus because Shakur and Tio are full of shit. Well, King Snoopy is diabolical. It might as well be, King. Yeah, I guess I'll have to make that adjustment when we are talking about Shakur and Tio. Interesting stuff. Now, speaking of onus, brothers and sisters, if I could just get into this, because I think that the discourse that I had about this particular subject in last week's discussion sufficed. That's what I thought. I thought that it sufficed, but turns out that I have to circle back on this topic, even though that wasn't necessarily my intention. But I thought this was imperative, I guess, to address. Some things I had come across throughout the week that kind of brought me back to, I guess, a need to highlight something, regarding this whole thing with Tank Davis, Purple Pain. Interesting perspectives made me kind of open up and analyze what was being said by a particular group or a particular percentage of his fan base, if you will. And I just found it to be very, very interesting, especially as it pertains to the idea of onus and responsibility, and the lack thereof that's being shown in all of these ways that we are seeing in boxing, and it's definitely being exemplified in what we have been seeing regarding the whole charades and the debacle of Tank Davis in flight from the law and being a fugitive of the law currently still, right? However many days it's been, or I guess it's been a week now, or however long. Now, these purple paint, and this is more towards his fanatics, right? I think last week when I touched upon it, I was looking more at him, right? But like I said, engaging with the responses that have been coming in, kind of inundating the social media landscape, people, positing their thoughts of his fan base. I wanted to particularly address them, I guess, or this mindset. Now, the mentality of these fanatics, you guys, seem to be spiraling further and further out of control. It seems like as the days pass, as the weeks pass, ladies and gentlemen, these people are becoming more and more unhinged in their perspectives and more deluded in their output, you guys. I'm not even going to cap. I feel like this is worthy of divulging because there is an underlying, how would I say, misunderstanding that is rampant across these social media platforms, your Twitters, and even the comment sections of YouTube. I have seen some in my comment sections, which have also inspired a need to highlight this from this particular sect of his quote unquote supporters. And it seems to be like they are finding it, they are having a difficulty understanding. I don't even know why, but they are having a goddamn difficulty with understanding the magnitude surrounding the details of this legal scandal that Purple Pain Davis is in. They're having a difficulty with that for some reason. I don't get it. I don't understand what there is to misconstrue about the details, about the facts, about the proceedings, about the everything that's been denoted and explained. I have no idea what there is to misconstrue or be mystified by, brothers and sisters. I don't get it. I cannot tell you how many instances over the past week, good people, of conversations that I have come across where these man fans have been just running amok, expressing some type of, I don't even know what to, some type of curious need to, I don't know what they are trying to do, vicariously live through Tank Davis. That's what it seems to me, good people. It's a curious need that they have to vicariously live through Purple Pain via this legal drama that's unfolding. They seem to be trying to vicariously live through this man via the drama, via this legal unfolding, right? Conversations being held by grown men, beautiful people, grown-ass men having the conversations where instead of taking a mature, reflective stance on the behavior of Tank Davis and the pattern of his illicit and abusive conduct, particularly against women, they are instead assuming some type of twisted ass, seditious outlook that is toting a banner that somehow women as a whole, now listen closely, in their view, women as a whole are liars and are out to do men wrong and leave them at the mercy of the law at any opportunity that they get because they are just simply inherently low down creatures. This is the mindset, you guys. This is what these people are vying for. This is the logic that they are trying to express and get across in their attempt to defend the alleged chastity of Purple Pain Davis, brothers and sisters. You really can't make this stuff up. Now, as a holistic view of the female principle as now being antagonized, women as a whole are put on a motherfucking frying pan because Tank Davis did something wrong. Do you understand this logic, brothers and sisters? This is what I've been coming across, and it's been absolutely mind-blowing to read some of these comments, to hear some of these people speak, look at posts that I come across that flood my timeline. Crazy work. I'm honestly uncertain about how. Now I need to say this, okay, and it's going to get thick. But I'm honestly uncertain about how and why these things are being conflated. Like I think that there is a mental block going on that's being displayed, and it's quite shocking when we are considering the fact that we are dealing with adult men out here on this type of time, mentally, brothers and sisters, mentally. And I'm serious about this. I don't know how these things are being conflated. The idea that, woman is no good, woman is low down inherently, being conflated with Tank Davis having a history of illicit abusive conduct with women. I just don't understand how the two are being conflated and misconstrued. How does one denote the other? That I just don't, you understand? And moreover, I'm confused about why there is a need to completely usurp, to absolutely usurp Tank Davis's criminality with this notion that women want to connive their way into defaming and debasing and slandering men. How are these two being introduced in the same hemisphere? I just, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why this is coming about as the focal point of their approach or the basis of the argument that they think they are presenting. There's also been a heavy need that I've been coming across, or that I have been witnessing. There's been a heavy need to, apprehend the involvement of police in this situation, or just the idea of police being involved as a whole. I don't know. I guess between, when you have a dispute with somebody, involving the law is now a problem to these men. Oh, it's not Tank Davis. Well, why is the law involved? So that there is a constant moving away from the point at hand. I mean, you'd be astounded by the things that I have been coming across over the past week, brothers and sisters. If you have not already come across them already, because maybe I am, jogging your memory. Right? I have heard things said that suggested that a woman getting the police involved in and of itself is trouble. So that the fact that this woman had filed a police report and made a complaint and sought legal justice, pretty much, that she is at fault. She is the trouble. Not what happened to her, right? But that she went to the police is problematic. That's one view that's going around out there from some people. It's diabolical out here, ladies and gentlemen. So that there is a supplanting of the real issue at hand. These people of this mentality, in other words, beautiful people, they want to replace what Purple Pain Davis has done with what is alleged to be a much larger character flaw, supposedly, in women as a whole. Do you understand? They are replacing the two. What he's done with this idea that this character flaw in women is what is the problem. It's the women who ultimately only are out to hang a man by the throat. They want to hang him dry. That's now becoming the focal point of their conversation. It's insidious on every level, brothers and sisters. No cap. We got to talk about this, beautiful people. Look at the mentality. Okay? We're going to divulge this. So many things come to my mind, in viewing and trying to make sense of it. Firstly, why is it so difficult for these people to look at this man? Why is it difficult for them to look at this man, Tank Davis, to look at the reality of his history, the turbulent history of how he relates to women? Why, what is so difficult in looking? Why is this difficult to see that? That he has a history of abuse, a pattern of abuse, abusive conduct with women. This is not the first time, brothers and sisters. We are very much privy to that. Why are they acting new? Let's look at that. That is the discussion. The discussion is not whether or not, Adam made Eve eat the goddamn apple. That's not the fucking discussion. The discussion is not, a debate about the inherent noxious, temperament of women. That's not the discussion. The discussion is his repeated, habitual pattern of abuse. That's the discussion. I just don't understand it. I got you, King. I got you. I'm just setting the table. I got you. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, and for whoever else, I may add the link if anyone else wants to join. But my brother here for boxing is gonna cook with me on this, because this is a part of the things that we were discussing. Okay. This is what I'm calling to your attention, beautiful people. Why are they having an issue viewing this man's conduct and the fact that he has a history of this particular conduct? Why are they looking away from it and doing their best to divert attention away from that reality of the history that he has? What's causing the cognitive dissonance, in other words, with these men, brothers and sisters? That has to be analyzed. That has to be analyzed, this particular group of men of his fanship. Why is there dissonance stirring within them on this particular matter? Tank Davis is seen on video, brothers and sisters, according to the reports and the authorities, assaulting this woman, dragging this woman from room to room, down the goddamn stairs, out into the goddamn parking lot. This is documented, recorded footage, ladies and gentlemen. This is not some trumped up mirage or daydream. The woman went and made a police report, and 1000% her description corroborated through and through with the evidence that was presented in the footage. Absolutely corroborated with that. What's difficult to understand about that? This is not the first instance where Tank Davis has been caught on camera as well, assaulting a female, brothers and sisters. Like the selective amnesia is crazy. We saw him grab up and attempt to pummel the mother of one of his children at a goddamn basketball game, ladies and gentlemen. There's footage of that. Not only did he yoke her up by the goddamn throat, but he went back there and motherfucking lunged the goddamn punch at her that he was throwing from motherfucking China to land on this woman. And moreover, what's crazy is that this particular woman, the latest woman with the current case against him, was not even with him romantically at this particular time of the incident. She had broke up with him a month prior to this, you guys. She was not even with Tank Davis. She cut all ties to that man. Wanted no contact with him whatever. And this man, Tank Davis, pulled up to her place of employment. He said to her something like, "Oh, you think I wouldn't find you, bitch?" And then proceeded to drag her out of the establishment by the back of her head and by the throat, brothers and sisters. This woman was only able to get away from that nigga because she had a moment of opportunity where he was distracted by whatever he was distracted by. And she hauled ass right back into that workplace and sought help. Not to mention all of the witnesses that can account for this. I'm not understanding what the misunderstanding is from these fucking deluded ass fanatics out here pushing this garbage. It's disgusting. Because they are opting to condone this man's behavior and assuage the severity of what his output means. I don't understand it. Nothing can help me gauge that. What part of that woman being at work and minding her own business, not having any contact with that man, minding her own goddamn business, denoted that she be assaulted and dragged out of her workplace by Tank Davis? What part of what she was doing denoted that? What part of her was so diabolical and planning a mass goddamn grandmaster plan to debase and disavow and scandalize Tank Davis? Her minding her business at work. What was her fucking grand scheme? What was her noxious attempt? Her noxious, toxic display as a woman that wanted to drag this man down. Where was that displayed at in this situation? Seems to me like she was just living her goddamn life, minding her own business. What part of that warranted this man walking in there and absolutely violating that woman? What part about her going to make her a living for herself suggested that Tank Davis had any right to put his hands on her and threaten to take her somewhere without her goddamn consent? I'm missing the point of contention here with these people. Somebody point me in the direction. Because that logic is absolutely non-existent. In my view, I don't see it. Somebody tell me how this woman was trying to slander and bring a man down in this situation. Can that really be applied here, brothers and sisters? Of course not. The motherfucking answer is no. So that fucking half-baked, frail-ass attempt, essentially to criminalize women, as a whole, because women ain't no good and they really just want to get a nigga, is absolutely, purposeless, baseless, and unfounded in every possible manner you can think of. Does not fit. Absolutely immature to even try to assume such a ridiculous posture. The mere idea that we got adults out here attempting to throw this type of cloak over the matter is outright disgusting. You try to cloak this disgusting output of assault by this man. I just cannot fathom what would make these people mentally even attempt that. Revolting behavior, to condone that revolting, nefarious logic. See, the problem is that these deluded ass fanatics cannot make a case against what's been presented. And so they are now opting to even, go to the most outlandish, lengths possible to abate and quell in any way they can any level of responsibility and onus being had by Tank Davis. They want no onus being placed on him. There is no case to make against the reality of the situation whatsoever. So in having, these people having a cowardly, already effete, frail personality, this is what's prompting them to opt to blame the woman who was humiliated, the woman who was run amok in her workplace, compromised and violated in her workplace. They would rather do that before they even think twice to examine Tank's fitness or unfitness as a man. They blame her. Because in their minds, they got to protect that twisted, sick-ass obsession they have with that fucking man. It's disgusting. This is not an action that can be oversimplified. There is no way to assuage that. The ramifications are absolutely immense of his behavior. They stand to be immense. And the implications of his behavior in of itself, in my view, they open up a world of questions that bring all types of unsightly truths to the forefront that neither Purple Pain Davis or his demented ass, man fans are ready to deal with. They don't want to deal with that. What those implications suggest, what kind of questions are brought up to the surface in lieu of seeing this man's track record with women. That's the part that they don't want to deal with. The point of their debauched argument, if that's what you want to call it, right? Because it's not even that. But their debauched logic is that they want to attempt to, deem women as, incongruous, subversive, treasonous creatures. That's their mythical umbrella that they want to throw on women to justify his behavior and treatment of women, brothers and sisters. Absolutely erroneous. The fact of the matter is, brothers and sisters, for anybody who would say, well, women are no good. The fact of the matter is this. It goes without saying. It's so immature and it's so perturbing that I would even have to, divulge or explain this in any type of way. Yes, brothers and sisters, there are all types of harmful, callous, toxic, vile, noxious women that exist on this planet. Absolutely. All types of them are walking around on this planet. They exist. Ain't no denying of that because they are people. And people can be toxic as fuck and evil and all types of every other motherfucking synonym you want to throw in there. Absolutely. There are women of that caliber who walk this planet, brothers and sisters, who have done insidious things to men, unthinkable things to men. Yes, without a doubt. But that does not suggest that that is all women or that relates or pertains to womanhood. It does not insinuate that all women are noxious, pernicious, baneful people who hate men and are looking for any opportunity to bring them down, to soil their reputations at all costs. What the fuck? They are not one and the same. I don't understand. What's difficult to understand about that? How the fuck did this become a one-size? How do you put a one-size-fits-all cloak on a sex of a person? What the fuck is going on here, people? I mean, it's just so childish. I can't, I really am astounded. It's so childish. I don't understand like that the fact that these are adults out here speaking like this, people. That's like saying, oh, the sky is a part of nature. And so that means that the trees are the trees can rain and the sky has roots. It's like, what the, how the fuck are you blending the two? How are these things getting conflated and mistaken for the other? This is what they sound like to me. Absolutely imbecilic in the approach. These people are trying their best to make sense of nonsense. It's preposterous, brothers and sisters. There is no need to senselessly conflate an issue whose lines are already clearly and intelligibly drawn. But this is the lengths that cowardly people will go to protect their fantasy. Their fetish of this man. This man, Purple Pain, violated yet another woman. That's a reality. Okay? Whether we like him or not, this is the reality. He violated yet another woman. That has to be spoken. That is not something to run from. That should have everybody's voice on, who considers themselves having been a supporter of that man at least. You got to keep it real. He got to have people that keep it real about that. Like, yo, you fucking up. This is what you did. He does not need cossetting. He needs rehabilitation. And the only way he can get that and to be helped and to mature as a man is to be able to take onus and responsibility, brothers and sisters. How the fuck can you call yourself a supporter of his and you are in line with his degradation? The degradation of his character as a man. Hell, I don't give a damn about his moves in boxing, but that doesn't mean I want to see him, erode spiritually. He ought to get some goddamn help, but that also doesn't mean that I'm going to cosset and baby his illicit conduct, his abusive tendencies. You understand? It's crazy to me, you guys. And the mentality that I'm just sitting back and observing, seeping out here and there. And more people, it's like catch fire. More and more people are regurgitating this particular logic, assuming this particular defense that they think that they, is defensive and appropriate to assume logically is crazy to me. This man has a history of violating women, brothers and sisters. Why is that not being spoken about? There is no need for the fluff and the filler and the distractions. That has to be dealt with. This repeated pattern that he exemplifies. That is the issue. You can guess until the cows come home about if, whatever woman you come across is no good. That's neither here nor goddamn there. That's of no relevance or no bearing whatever. But what is relevant is that a woman who broke up with his ass was dragged out of her establishment where she worked without any clue that she was even being stalked by Tank Davis. She didn't wake up knowing that she was going to be, followed, walked up on. How the fuck do you account for that? You cannot. There is no rationale that can explicate or attempt to assuage the severity of his actions. It is what it is. So that this contrived, trumped up notion, trumped up, tale that somehow, the distrust of women and, all of this is what, got him, and they're trying to make everything else the goddamn focal point. That these simps are looking to wave a banner of justification for is absolutely absurd. It's destructive and it's 1000% virulent behavior. And it's showing a much larger, frail mentality that a lot of people have out here. And it's showing up in this instance within his support group. They want to save their beloved Purple Pain Davis at the risk of their own morality and uprightness and virtue as men? Who are these niggas? Who the fuck raised these dudes? No backbone whatsoever, justifying this man's disgusting output and behavior. Absolutely appalling to me. It makes me sick to my stomach. This is not a conversation about if such and such woman, talked out of turn, or such and such women, because such and such women like to throw hands at you. Such and such women, will call the cops on you for no reason. Absolutely. Ain't no lies told there. Like I said, you got all types of women stepping on top of, all types of crazy ass time out here. Absolutely. Has nothing to do with being assaulted unwarrantedly. Let's talk about him putting his hands on her. Because that's what happened. She didn't walk up to him and stalk him and proceed to mollywop his ass upside the head and drag him off of his premise. That's not what happened. Additionally, brothers and sisters, the lame ass complaint about the police involvement and that being, they just want to call the cops and you shouldn't even be having police called is equally bereft in logic, brothers and sisters. Many of these cowards, real talk, are out here, the ones that are out here placating, right? Probably have had run-ins with the law themselves, right? To one degree or another, okay? And as a result, they are out here horrendously holding up the fantasy of Purple Pain Davis, as being some type of caped crusader in the battle for, I don't know, the integrity of some motherfucking thug justice or something. Oh, justice for the thugs out here. You know what I'm saying? For the woman beaters, Tank. Yeah, go get him. Let me cheer you on. You're fleeing for the law. You're a vigilante for the thug justice. I don't know what the fuck are in these people's minds. You can't make this stuff up. And the fact that it's happening at the expense and the exemption of their own masculinity is what I find disgusting. The expense of their own righteousness as men. They are looking at that coward Tank Davis as a symbol of some type of twisted heroism in the fact that he is fleeing from the law and moreover, fleeing from his responsibility, the responsibility of his own actions. Nobody told that man to go in there and assault that woman. Any of the women that he did. There's another way that things could have been gone about. No, women are not saints, and neither are they devils. Yes, women have done disgusting, horrendous things to men purposely. And there are women who had nothing to do with that. The conflating of these things are insane to me, absolutely childish, and show a bereft, these people are bereft of morality and understanding and uprightness as a whole, and tact and intelligence, honestly. And I wanted to discuss that with the good brothers and sisters. Let me put the link in the chat for my good brother here for boxing, if you're still in here, or any of the family who wanted to call in and cook on that particular issue or whatever we discussed, or No, we absolutely had to talk about that. 1000%. She don't have it coming simply because she's a woman. What the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? It's insane that they would use the umbrella. Well, women, really are out to do, niggas harm out here. I'm saying? You can't trust these hoes. You know what I mean? These hoes gonna pick up the phone, they're gonna call the police now, yeah. Oh, they're really out to get you. Excuse me? What the hell does that have to do with an innocent woman being absolutely violated and humiliated and embarrassed and compromised? She ain't do shit. What the fuck does that say to her? So, it's an attempt to justify the abuse, to justify his output. Well, she asked for it, is the mentality. It's crazy. I don't know what upright man or woman would assume that logic. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Oh my goodness, good people. I think I put the link in the chat. I think I did it right, you guys. I think I did it before a couple of weeks back. Hopefully I did it right this time, you guys. Again. So the link is there here for boxing. I'm not sure if you're still here, King. It's in there for you. I know you wanted to chop it up with me about that. I just cannot for the life of me. Oh, you in the back? Oh, sorry.
Hey, you got
Salute to the king.
you got to open the door. You got to open the door and let me in.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm sorry. I'm over here rambling.
No,
I
was back there for 2 seconds. I was back there for all the 2 seconds. It's all good.
Okay, good. Salute to you, King. Thank you so much for joining. Infinite blessings to you always. I appreciate our dialogue that we had. I believe that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Deep dives, deep discussions about all types of things. So I definitely wanted to get your perspective on the show, and I'm definitely glad that you motioned to join me, for this particular discussion. I definitely respect your mind, and I'd love to hear you divulge a little bit further about your thoughts. Go ahead, King.
Yeah, so one of the things, I got a lot of thoughts, so they be kind of all over the place. So many things that I have to say about this, so I'm not gonna be too long-winded. What's up to the chat, everybody? What's up,
No,
y'all?
it's all good, King.
But yeah, so my thing is obviously like you stand on business, you always have. You to me, you always on the side of what's right, and that's why I come here. That's why I support in the super chat and everything else. I encourage people to do the same thing, because this is what we need to hear. One of the things that I pride myself on is when women are around me, that a woman feels safe, a woman feels secure. And the new phrase I hear women say is that they like to turn their brain off when they're around a man. Meaning they can
Yeah,
just, comfortably let the man lead, and they can just sit back, put their feet up and be a passenger princess and know that that man is going, hold them down. And I think women should feel that way around men. And when you have these, I call them, I just came with a word, I call them your victims. Your victims, Gervonta, your victims. That's what they are. They're a joke to me. And I think that in a time like this where we know everything we know about this man, it's not like it's the first allegation. In fact, we have prior video evidence of him doing the exact same thing to another woman. And y'all want us to keep giving
yes,
this dude the benefit of doubt when we seen him do it? I mean, and they're saying like, oh well, where's the video? The police said that they watched the video and it matches her story. What are we doing? What are we doing here? And I think that
exactly.
like you shouldn't, as a woman, you shouldn't be front line on this. The men should be front line on this, and everybody should be taking a stand. Like enough is enough. But
Yes,
I'm gonna say names. What I challenge for non-boxing, boxing ego and knockout boxing 86. I challenge them that when their daughters come home and tell them that the man smacked the shit out of them, make sure you ask was it on video, and tell her you want to wait for all the facts to come out before you proceed. And don't call the
right.
police. Don't call the police. You know what I mean? And they also want you to believe that the reason these things keep happening is because Gervonta Davis has to stay out of the strip club. I got news for y'all. He was not hanging out in the strip club and an incident broke out. Wherever he was at 4 in the morning, he decided that he didn't want to be there anymore. He jumped in his car, drove to this woman's workplace, grabbed her by her throat and said, "Bitch, you didn't think I was going to find you?" And dragged her out of the
Fact.
building and was going to throw her in his car. I don't know what he had planned up. I don't know what was on his mind when he was planning on throwing that girl in his car.
Yep.
There's no telling what he would have did to that girl. He might have snapped and killed her. We don't know. But they don't care, and this is what you're not going to hear when you hear Fanon and Boxing Ego. They're just going to tell you that everybody's picking on Gervonta and everybody's preying on his downfall and everybody's a hater. At some point, we got to call it what it is. He is a woman beater. He's an abuser, and he doesn't respect women. He doesn't respect anybody.
Mm.
And he's very entitled. He excuse my language, he's a dickhead. He's not likable, but they want to tell you that Devin Haney's bad for boxing. We need Devin out of the sport. Adrian Broner just told Tank, keep running, nigga, fuck them. Where's the videos? I
Oh
didn't see
my
a video
God.
about this yet. I didn't see any videos covering this. Could you imagine if Devin Haney was on a run for beating a woman and Terrence Crawford told him to keep running? Could you
Oh
imagine
my
the
God. You already
firestorm?
know. Yes,
So
you already know.
but they don't want to talk about these things. We don't hear about these things. And it's like the PBC protection program. And I don't want to make this a PBC bashing thing, but certain fighters from certain organizations are afforded certain protections that others are not. And it's because those fighters did not sign with that organization.
Mm.
And they get treated like dog crap. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough to listen to. It's tough to watch. And as a grown man, I legitimately I want to put my hands on a couple of these dudes. And I'm not a small dude. I'm 6 foot 230 pounds. I'm not a little guy. I want to put my
Mm.
hands on a couple of these guys. Like legitimately, that's where I'm at with it. I don't want to debate anymore. I want to smack one of y'all
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's disgusting to hear this.
It's absolutely disgusting, and it's unfounded, that they would assume such a posture, um, as men who, um, relate to women on all levels, whether romantically, whether as fathers, whether as sons or cousins or nephews or whatever have you. Um, there is no logic that can justify, um, a constant, habitual line and history of abuse, no matter what, no matter I mean, and the fact that, like I was saying, like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm on some feminist rant, like, oh, women are precious and you have to, they are the sky's, cream of the crop, and they are to be held above all standards. Like I said, there is no mystification as far as where I'm coming from that would denote in any way, that a woman is above reproach, or a
Right.
woman would be above, being a level of, castigated for her own wrongdoing. So that the fact that women do wrong to men, like I said, that's why I wanted to state that as bluntly and as blatantly as I could. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? People are people, individuals do fucked up things. That's just
Absolutely.
the reality. You know what I mean? So nobody is trying to placate or cosset, um, to the cause of womanhood, as to be sanctified and, venerated, um on some type
But
of
but
mythological, I don't know what the fuck in these people's mind. That's
yeah.
not me. You
But
understand what I'm saying?
right. Right. Right.
No woman can put her hands on any man, or no woman will ever be in the right for, outrightly and wrongfully accusing a man of anything, or trying to motion to her own level of abuse on him, or to enforce her own whatever. I'm not down with that in the least bit. You know what I'm saying? Just like I'm not down with any man, displaying those type of character, um traits. I'm not down for abuse. I don't
Yeah.
condone or support abuse on any goddamn level.
Right. Right.
So
But
these men out here trying to make it seem like, oh, well, women are
it's
evil and want to
you know.
be out to get
But see,
women, is because, yeah,
I'm sorry. But the problem is with Gervonta fans is nothing is his fault. Nothing. When he lost the
nothing.
Jake Paul fight, oh, Jake Paul and Turkey Al Sheik found this girl and they told her to do this. Jake Paul wanted out of the fight so bad that he found a girl that Javante dated and told her to come up with this. So you're telling me Jake Paul reached out to a girl, told her, hey, block Javante, because when you do, he's going to come to your job and grab you by your throat and kidnap you. So do this so that way I can get out the fight. Do you know how stupid you motherfuckers sound?
I can't believe that,
Do you know how
the
ridiculous
level
y'all
of
sound?
men.
And sugar free. I expect this behavior from the 18, 19, 20-year olds. When I see 40, 50, and 60-year-old men doing this, and these
Oh
kids
my God.
already idol worship Javante. You guys are just
Yes.
giving them more fuel to turn into motherfuckers just like him. And I hope your daughter come across and your granddaughter come across a nigga just like Javante, and he beat the living shit out of her. And I hate to say that,
Yes.
but this shit gotta hit home. Your daughters need to get fucked up for it to
I
really make
understand what
sense. I have two daughters, sugar. I have a 20-year-old and a 9-year-old. I'm scared of what I would do if my daughters called me and told me somebody put their hands on them. And that's why I tell my
oh
daughters,
my,
please don't put your hands on a man. Because it's gonna put me in a
yes.
position, it's gonna put me in a position to do something that I can't turn back from.
Yes,
So call me.
absolutely.
Please don't put your hands on a man. Let me deal with it. I got brothers bigger than me. I got uncles, cousins. I got everything you need to make sure that you okay. Please don't smack a man, don't hit a man, don't throw anything at a man, don't touch him. So
Yes. And
this ain't.
I think to add to that point, I think a lot of what was coming up in a lot of these discussions were also stemming from like I said, their own these a lot of these cats probably have their own history of turbulent relationships with women
Yeah,
that have soured in whatever way. They have probably seen, you know, levels and examples of women on that type of time. They have probably seen all types of you know, characters in women, and so that they are pulling and drawing from those particular instances and using that as a cloak to throw over um you know, females as a whole. Um, and it's like, I just, I think it also brings up and stirs up a much deeper dialogue that I don't think, especially Black men and Black women, are having outrightly. Um,
yeah,
because I think Tank Davis's experience is forcing inadvertently a conversation on the table that these people are not willing to have because they are playing the blame game. But it's a conversation that can be had honestly, um, as a discourse, on a personal level, like in their own lives. They should be having this, they should be working this type of mental dissonance that they have, or the friction that they have with the female dynamic, female principle in their lives. People need to be talking about this. Um,
so
because
I'm
these
sorry. I'm
men,
sorry. I'm
you
sorry.
know, I'll also go on the flip side and say that these men, let's say they are not wrong, you know, from their experiences with women of turbulence, with women who have been kind of noxious like that. I think that there is a conversation to be had of these men where they should be voicing their experiences and having a platform to do that. But it's not had in cossetting and placating Tank Davis's behavior.
Yeah,
That's not where it's a healthy avenue to do that, because this is a man, you know, who has been imposing you know, abusive relationships, abusive behavior with women. You know
yeah,
what I'm
and
saying?
yeah, and you know, to touch on that, right? So they have stooped to every single low to try to absolve him of any responsibility for his
Yes,
actions. It's always the women. It's always somebody after his money. It's always somebody trying to duck him. Nobody wants to fight him.
yes,
It's never his fault. Anytime there's a problem, if it's Javante Davis and Terrence Crawford exchanging words, it's Terrence Crawford's fault. If it's Devin and Bill with Javante, it's Devin and Bill's fault. If it's Keyshawn and Tank, it's Keyshawn's fault. It's Shakur's fault. It's never
exactly,
Tank's fault. But he seems to be the common denominator. And then it's
exactly.
everybody's jealous of him. Terrence Crawford ain't jealous of Tank. Terrence Crawford is a million times more accomplished and has a million times more money and doesn't get in trouble. What would I be? Why would I be jealous of his fucking life? This motherfucker's on the run. Why am I jealous of him?
Right.
So to furthermore go into this, what I wanted to touch on was the mental health angle that they're trying to play now. Now they're trying to play his mental health. Oh, his mental
Right.
health isn't right. His grandmother died. Sorry, he beat this girl up before his grandmother died. Suck my dick.
Yes.
Excuse my
Yes.
language. So we're not playing that game. Oh well, he's having a hard time turning himself in because his grandmom died. So sad, too bad. You shouldn't have did what you did. This is why you plan for tomorrow. You don't do stupid shit today and have to deal with it tomorrow. So you
That's
got to live
right.
with it. But you want me to care about his mental health when this girl blocked him after 5 months of dating, said, I don't want to do this shit anymore. Fuck this. I'm good. I can't do this. And she
Yes.
did this. She did what she was supposed to do. She blocked him. She blocked him on Instagram, Facebook, text message, FaceTime, MySpace, you Black Planet, you name it, she blocked him on it.
Blocked
He
him.
shows up at her job a month later and tries to kidnap her. And we're talking about his mental health. What about her? What about her getting on the
Yes.
internet? What about her getting on the internet every day, hearing people telling her she's a fucking liar, she's a fucking gold digger, that this didn't really happen, that she's making this up, that she baited him into this? Everything is not, nothing is his fault. Fuck him.
Exactly.
This girl is going through hell right now, and
Exactly.
probably terrified to go through with this because of the ramifications that may follow.
1000%.
And I'm supposed to give a fuck about him? Fuck you and fuck him. Not you, but those
1000%.
motherfuckers. For non-boxing ego, all you lawyer bitch ass motherfucker, I swear to God, I'm gonna smack the shit out of one of you niggas when I see y'all. I promise. I promise I'm gonna smack one of y'all. This shit gets me so furious to see grown men behave like this. It's like you guys are 40 and 50 and 60 years old, idol worshiping a 30-year-old man because he boxes. No, y'all are attracted to him. Y'all want to fuck him. Excuse my language. Y'all like him. You're attracted to him. There's no other way that a man would behave like this over another man that
It's
doesn't like
definitely,
you.
it's
He
definitely a
does
fetish.
not like you guys. He told you, I don't like y'all. Stop talking to me.
Yep. Yep.
No, he
It's
didn't
it's
really mean that. He didn't mean stop talking to him. He just meant stop. You guys try to speak for him every chance y'all fucking get. He'll tell you exactly what he means, and you'll tell him he didn't mean that.
it's crazy. It's a
This,
real fetishizing of this image that they hold of him. And like I
Yeah.
said, it's such that they will bypass and negate their own sense of moral code, their own sense of morality and uprightness
If
in
you need me
order
to
to
curve, so if you need me to
protect
curve
him.
my language in the threats, let me know. I get really angry about this stuff. I get really mad about this stuff. I can't believe stupidity runs so rampant in our community.
No, it's absolutely true. And like I was saying about the whole thug justice, right? The idea, the perspective that I share with that is like, and the living wanting to live vicariously through him. It really is. I don't know. It's a twisted need to relate. Um, Maybe a part of their lifestyle that they want to be justified in
Yeah.
some particular type of way. There are so many levels that we could unpack with this, especially the excuse that you brought up, which was a good point because I've come across that as well. Trying to plead to a larger sense of his mental wellness. Oh, okay, well, he had a hard life. Oh, well, he had been through this or he had been through that.
Whoop de
He
fucking do. We all
had
have.
from the
Whoop de do.
streets. Like it does, he's a grown man. He is a man that is responsible for himself. This is nobody's goddamn child.
And
This
Gervonta
man has
Davis left.
children of
He
his
left.
own.
Gervonta left poverty at 20 years old. He's been rich as long as he's been poor.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So
Like,
we're
what
not
is
gonna
going
sit here
on?
and
Like, he
act like this
doesn't live in
dude is
no
just.
goddamn cave.
There's
This
dudes
man
who
is
never.
fully responsible for himself.
There's dudes who are born broke and die broke and don't behave like this. So
Absolutely. It
so
has
so it
nothing to
doesn't
do with
matter.
his character.
Right.
This is a part of his character that needs addressing, that needs rehabilitation. 1000%.
Absolutely.
Has
Absolutely.
nothing to do with where he came from. I'm from the goddamn hood too. That don't
Mm-hmm.
mean I'm walking to nobody's job, molly whopping and dragging a nigga
Mm-hmm.
that dumped me 5 months ago.
and
I'm not dragging his ass in the middle of the street and trying to lock him in the fucking trunk of my car or whatever the fuck is on his mind.
and I want y'all to understand how Fanon tried to dress this up. Some of y'all know who he is. This motherfucker said Gervonta Davis's agitated mental state with his grandmother dying may cause him to go to a girl's job at 4 o'clock in the morning and quote scuff her up. And he tried to say he tried to make it sound like it was a reasonable thing to do because he wasn't in a bad mood. You know what I do at 4 o'clock in the morning? I sleep.
Right.
That's what I do.
Yes.
I don't wake up and go choke my baby mama.
Exactly.
My daughter mom gets on my nerves every freaking day. I don't think to smack her. If she gets on my, I just hang up on her. Bye. I'm done. I'm not doing this.
Right. Right.
And that's the end of it. It ends right there. I don't ever feel the inclination to drive to her house and say more. You know what I mean? And do more. It is what it is. Who cares? Like, say what you got to say. I say what I got to say, and everybody moves forward.
Exactly. And there is an unwillingness, obviously, on Tank Davis' part, to engage with his own mentality, a mentality that would suggest that he take, an intelligent approach to how he's dealing with his women, to how he's, in this case, we can't even say his women because she was not his woman.
Yeah,
right?
they
had
dated,
already broken
and
up. I think his concept of the female principle is thwarted, and he has I don't know. There's a subversive dynamic between him and women that needs to be checked out and needs to be understood for what it is.
His position is we're not done until I say we're done.
Yes.
And that's what this is all this is. No, you're not done with me. I'll let you know when you're done.
Right.
And that's why he went to this girl's job. And to touch on another topic around this, where's Leonard Ellerby? His big mouth ass. Where's Calvin Ford? Where is Kenny Ellis? They got something to say every fucking day about Devin Haney, who Shakur should fight, who Devin should fight, what Lamont Roach needs to do. Where the fuck is Tank? Where are you guys at? Where are you guys publicly speaking on this? You Leonard Ellerby every day, Tank over everybody. Okay, where is he? You got something to say every other time, except for now. Everybody's oddly quiet. You want us to believe that this kid didn't do anything, but his whole team is silent.
Yeah, they're absolutely silent. I was asking
because
I'm like, where is the team at?
Sugar Free, because he beat that girl's ass. And I think that video is going to show more than him choking her. I think that video is going to show him smacking her around.
Wow.
He beat her ass. I will bet money that he beat her ass.
Oh
and this is why everybody's quiet. If somebody put out a report on me that said here for boxing beat up a girl and we got it on video, drop the video. Do it now.
Right.
Drop it right now because it didn't happen.
Exactly. There would be no fleeing, you know what I'm saying, for a week on end. You know what I'm saying? There would be no, avoiding and popping up and avoiding contact with lawyers, contact with everybody trying to get in contact with him. regarding the legalities. It's just, the
They,
output is
yeah.
so harmful, not only to him, but just as a as a brother, as a black man. The display of this particular level of cowardice and a lack of
And
accountability
I
is
want
just
him to turn himself in. So I want him to turn himself in so he doesn't get hurt. They want him
one
to keep
thousand
running.
percent.
They want him to keep running. What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Yeah, he's putting himself in harm's way.
He's going to get himself. The cops are going to whoop his ass eventually if this goes like he's going. I don't know if he's going. Maybe he'll put his hands behind his back. I don't know. I hope he's not holed up somewhere like Saddam Hussein in the ground with a gun. I hope it's not that type of thing. I'd imagine he's somewhere sitting back on the internet looking and laughing, waiting for them to kick the door in any moment. But the people who really love and care about him should be telling him, bro, turn yourself in. Get this over with. If you didn't do
Exactly.
it, turn yourself in. What are you running from?
Exactly. And anybody, holding the logic that we have been seeing, and of course the one that we have been discussing, that poses that this man, ought to be babied, and handled delicately, and truth shouldn't be brought to this, no light should be brought to this. Let's go ahead and walk on eggshells as it pertains to how we describe or how we embrace reality. Let's be partial in our approach is a part of a much, much, much larger problem. You know what I'm saying? For the reasons why, there are these levels of behavior that happen. I think that the placating this mentality um, is disgusting and insidious. I don't see where there is a place for it with any man. Like you said, no upright man should be making room to allow for this particular level of behavior to be pandered to in any way or mitigated. Like you're going to try to lessen the severity of what
And,
it is. It is
and
what it
it's like
is. Even if he's
y'all
an
could
adult,
y'all,
should be able to call it for what it is. Whether we like him or not, it has nothing to do with the fact that you have supported this man's career. It's just like, no, this is what's being presented. This is what is factual. This is what is documented. This is
but
what
this is
has a historical trail behind it. There's nothing wrong in calling it for what it is as far as his behavior.
and this is why I
Wrong
say
is
his fans. I'm sorry, but can you hear me, Sugar? Hey, can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, I'm sorry, I cut out. I'm sorry. Yeah, but this is why I said in that video I put out the other day, the live I did. The title was "Tank fans are always on the side, on the wrong side of morality." Ryan Garcia takes drugs against Devin Haney. We hate Devin Haney so much that hey, those drugs weren't that big of a deal. Tank Davis takes a knee in the middle of a fight. Oh, the ref gave him permission. No, he started counting. What do you mean he gave him permission? He got grease in his hair. It's the hairdresser's fault.
Yep,
Nothing is his fault, and this is why he is the way he is, because no matter what he does, you guys will always make excuses for him. So
exactly.
he's never been held accountable, and this is why. And I wonder, maybe I'm starting to wonder why Floyd got from around him. Like this kid's a knucklehead, and he's not worth the headache. But
It's
now Floyd was the greatest thing ever when Floyd was fluffing him up, putting him on cards, giving him easy fights. Floyd was the greatest thing ever. Now Floyd is public enemy number one to some of these people that love Javante. I'm not saying Floyd is without sin, but if it comes down to Floyd and Javante, I'm rolling with Floyd. I think Floyd got more sense than Javante Davis. Not a lot more, but more. I'm just,
yeah,
I don't understand it. And I sit here every day and I watch these videos, and I probably should stop watching them because they make me mad. But I really one day I watch them hoping that one day these dudes will snap out of them like, yo, all right, we got to tell the truth here.
yeah,
And I asked I asked the question of knockout boxing. I hate to keep name dropping, but I asked the question of him because he made it his duty to clear up all the lies on Gervonta Davis. Why don't you clear up the lies about him that make him look good? You never clear those lies up. You never clear up the $5 billion Amazon deal lies. You don't clear those. You don't clear up those lies.
wow,
As long as the lies make him look good, you're fine with them. It's the lie. And the lie. The things that he saw, he's clearing up the lies. It's just YouTubers making up rumors. Who cares? Let's address the real. Let's address this police report that y'all won't talk about.
yes, absolutely,
Devin Haney sold his house a year ago, and they made videos about it for a fucking week.
yeah, exactly,
Devin's going broke. Who gives a fuck?
yeah,
He sold his house.
nonstop,
He sold his house, bought a new one, and bought a Rolls Royce truck. What is wrong with you idiots? Why do y'all care about this
nonstop.
stuff? But y'all tell us it's out of boxers' personal lives when it comes to Javante.
Oh my God.
But y'all say disrespectful things about Devin. He paid a prostitute to have his baby. How fucking dare you say something like that about somebody's child's mother? How dare
Oh
you?
my God.
But then if we call Tank Mom a crack whore, we fucking wrong. I would never do that. But when people do, y'all cry about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, there are definitely
It's oh God, I
platforms
hate these people. I
I
get
venture
mad thinking
to.
about it.
Yeah, there are definitely platforms that I do not, there is a I stay with who I rock 10 toes with,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying? And that is a very small few. It's under 5 people. You know what I mean? So um
Yeah.
I kind of that's where I kind of circulate in orbit. I refuse to go and sit around, seeping in any level of imbecility. I just can't stand that. So I refuse to go and venture into those particular types of territories. But at the same time, it's kind of impossible to not get the little, um, the things that trickle down, permeating throughout the social media landscape, that make their way to a timeline or to a feed here and there of some of the sentiments and dispositions that these people of that mindset hold. And it's definitely disheartening. It's odd, it's strange, and it speaks to a much larger level of dement and delusion that these people are willing to go to in order to hold up and fetishize, these people that they idolize to that capacity and degree. It is
But
very insidious.
these guys are hoping the charges are dropped. Like,
Wow,
what are we doing here? I heard them saying like the charges might get dropped. If Javante, no charges are getting dropped. The longer he runs, the longer this lingers. And I hope he continues to run.
wow,
I hope they catch him a year later, and I hope they nail him to the fucking wall. I hope they make an
wow. So they
example of
are
his little
hoping for
ass.
charges to get
They
dropped.
have said that they hoping that the charges get dropped. I've seen it, and then they talk about in the past incidents. Oh, she took her story back. Yeah, she got paid. You fucking moron. He
Oh
got
my
accused of he got accused of putting his hands on a woman. I want to say before the Hector Luis Garcia fight, maybe. And I think before it was his kid's mom, the one I think where they were in Florida, the deputies were in his driveway, and he was standing there with his
Oh,
shirt off, and
yeah,
the
yeah,
fucker took
I
him
remember
away.
that, yeah.
I think that was before Hector Luis, and the girl, she recanted her statement. As we all know, women will pull their statement in a domestic once their feelings come down and they realize that they love this man. I can't do this to him. He's about to make
Right,
$10 million. He's about to make $10 million, and this benefits me and my child. I got to pull back on this. So y'all don't think
right.
somebody told her like, sweetheart, you got to stop this. You can't go forward with this. And y'all think because the charges were dropped, it didn't happen? The fuck is wrong with y'all?
Yeah,
Y'all
yeah.
think that a man
Nothing nothing
we've seen this man do this. We've seen it. We've watched him do it.
Yes,
And a Tank
yes.
fan actually said, I don't know if I said this to you on Twitter the other day. A Tank fan said that the reason that guy that Tank pulled her out of the gym by her collar is because there was a stampede going on at the basketball
Yes,
game,
I heard
and
somebody
she
say that
wouldn't get
recently
up.
on, My King BF's, page.
Yeah, sugar free. I watched that video 10 times looking for the stampede. Everybody was looking down at their phone, sitting in the
Yo,
chair.
that
I
shit
said, "You
was
motherfuckers
crazy.
are."
Oh, he
I
was
said,
trying to
you are."
protect her,
I
is
said,
what he said.
You guys are disgusting. You are really
Oh my
disgusting people.
God. The
Well,
ways
look,
in
I
which
don't
these
want
people
to.
all of this an effort to protect him. Like they don't
Yeah,
want him to assume any level of onus or responsibility. Like he cannot, there is no way that they can allow for this man to actually be accountable
to just be
for his
wrong for
actions.
once. He's never been wrong. Even when you have it on video, you want it on video, you got it on video, and
Yes,
it's still
yes,
not good enough.
yes,
What do you need it?
yes.
Do you need it? Do you need it to happen in front of you? I'm like Javante Davis could slap a newborn, and somebody would ask what the newborn did to him,
Oh my
and they
God.
would be dead
Yes,
serious. Like, well, what did the
that's
baby
the
do?
logic. That's the logic.
Well, I
1000.
mean, from my perspective, the men in this chat, Ray Davis, Daryl, so many more that I interact with. I want the ladies to know, the ladies that are listening, like we don't just stand beside y'all, we stand in front of y'all. Y'all don't got to
Mhm.
deal with this. We got it. You know what I'm saying? And we should have it. And when I see 40-year-old men and 50 and 60-year-old men, I keep saying that because I want to hammer the point home that these are
Yes,
grandfather age men talking this. Grandfather age. I'm 40
yes.
years old. I've been around the block. I've been through it with women. I've gripped women up before. I had a woman get my face. I had to grab her. Who the fuck you talking to? Who you putting your hands on? And
Right,
point was made. Like, all right, I can't get in this man's face. He's twice my size. Never
right.
swung on him or anything like that. But we've all been there as men. I'm sure you've been there as a woman. You got into it with a man, and you might have been a little out of line. And he like, yo, stop playing
I've
with me.
never experienced that ever.
Maybe not you know what I mean, but some women have, and it's not like the man is a woman beater or nothing like that. But
No,
sometimes it
yeah,
gets
yeah,
heated.
for
It gets
sure.
heated in the house. Couples go through it. It happens. But when
Right.
it keeps happening, it happens every other month. You're the problem. It's probably you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, there's
Like
no denying betrayal and
we've been
history.
young and black in the hood and going through shit, dealing with our emotions, not knowing how to handle ourselves at 21 years old. We all go through it. We've been there.
Right.
But he has a problem. This is a habit of his.
1000%.
So it's
1000%.
a shame.
And
It's truly a shame.
it definitely is. It definitely is. Um,
And
but yes, I so appreciate you coming to
for sure.
share and divulge your thoughts on this. Um, it's definitely wonderful to speak to not only a boxing fan, but an intelligible, cognizant boxing fan, somebody who is cognizant about what is going on, conscious brother that could separate and make the distinction between, you know, and watching and being entertained by a
Yeah.
boxing, match or supporting these fighters and make the distinction between, what's morally upright and what isn't. You know what I'm saying? It
At
doesn't.
some
You
point,
can
they have to take
and
off the
for some
rainbow color.
reason,
They have to
people
take off the
making it
rainbow colored
an issue.
glasses.
Yeah, some people making it an issue that, okay, well, because I'm a boxing fan, I can't have clarity as to what is right and what's wrong as far as character and behavior because I support or don't support a particular person. No, I don't know how these things have been
Yeah.
conflated. I don't even know how the details, of his case were conflated by these people, but it's definitely not a place, that we support here on this platform. So I
Right.
definitely appreciate your presence and your discussion tonight, King. Wonderful talking to you.
I appreciate you having me. You know, I'm always gonna
Yeah,
be here with you.
hopefully we'll
I'm
have
always
more discussions. Yeah, definitely
yeah,
feel
yeah.
free to come back.
Anytime, any Sunday you go live and my hands ain't tied up, I'm here with you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, King, for rocking
All
out.
right, Queen. Appreciate you. Love.
All right, we'll talk soon.
All right, talk to you.
Yes, good family. That was a wonderful discussion. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed all the aspects that we covered today. Hopefully, you enjoyed some good old boxing talk. It definitely got a little bit deep, of course, considering the dynamic of our last point of discussion, surrounding Tank Davis and that whole scandal that he is going through. Real talk, brothers and sisters. You know, we could only see what is yet to unfold as far as Tank Davis is concerned, right? Um, but I wish no ill on any man. But at the same time, I definitely believe in having to be accountable. I definitely believe in one assuming responsibility for their actions in and out of boxing. And I'd like to see, all the levels of responsibility that we covered today be assumed by the fighters that we support, by the fighters that are looking to assume and attain a level of greatness in boxing, right? That's what I want to see. I want to see the best fight in the best, and I want to see the best exemplifications of heart, valor, courage, temerity, and tenacity within the sport. And anything that isn't standing uprightly in that path, will just fall to the wayside, as we have also been seeing. So I think I'll end it on that note, beautiful people. Just shout out to people that sent me some super chats here for boxing, doubling it up in the super chat this evening. And infinite blessings to my twin, the lovely King Daryl Anderson, for showing some love and support. As always, he says, just throwing some color in the chat for a great boxing discussion. Always great stuff, twin. I appreciate you. Infinite blessings to the good family, everybody who pulled up. I will end it there. Have a wonderful week ahead, you guys. And I will see y'all on the next one. You already know what it is. Peace and infinite blessings to the good family.